big. We were kind of worried about worst case scenario and had that in our brains. And most of the cases have just been normal adjustment.
The 9 female beagles will be briefly fostered before they're ready for adoption in the coming month.
Wisconsin reaches a historic $10 million settlement over PFAS contamination.
The State Department of Justice reached a deal with Tyco Fire Products after the so-called forever chemicals contaminated the water supply in northeastern Wisconsin for decades.
In particular, we allege failure to notify DNR of a PFAS discharge, as well as failure to remediate contamination at and around the Fire Technology Center in Marinette.
In addition to the $10 million, Attorney General Josh Kaul says Tyco will pay for replacement wells for affected residents and other remediation in the area as needed. Jessica Gatso, WTMJ News.
The Senate passed legislation providing roughly $70 billion for immigration enforcement. The passage comes after fierce opposition from Democrats and a handful of Republicans. News Nation's Trevor Shirley.
It passed the Senate 4 days after the president's June 1st deadline, after a series of disagreements among Senate Republicans. First, the administration's so-called anti-weaponization fund, $1.7 billion for people who say they were politically prosecuted. Republicans disagreed on a measure to legally block the administration from moving forward with that fund, even though the White House says it won't. That effort failed, along with an attempt to block the administration from building the president's ballroom.
The ICE funding bill now moves to the House for a vote, which is expected next week.
A better-than-expected monthly jobs report.
The U.S. economy added 172,000 jobs in May, almost double what most analysts had been predicting. That lowers the risk of a recession. However, wage gains were modest at best. Young people are finding it tough to break into the job market because so many companies, while they aren't firing people, aren't really hiring them either. And employees haven't been leaving jobs they don't like either. The number of people who quit in April dropped to the lowest level since August of 2020, when COVID was running rampant. Sherry Preston, ABC News.
Time for news about your money. The WTMJ Annex Wealth Management Market Update. Everything in the red currently. The Dow off 400 points at 51,154. The NASDAQ is way down about 790 points at 26,038. And the S&P 500 off 134 points at 7,450. Financial planning at every level. Annex Comprehensive Wealth, Annex Private Client, Annex Ignite. Details at annexwealth.com.
Well, that's an interesting way to describe the Brewers season so far. Sports, traffic, and weather are next. Outdoor Living Unlimited, WTMJ News Time is 12:04.
Sponsored by Redo Cabinets. Don't replace this spring. Reface.
Mark Olson here. Now is the time to declare your independence from the outdated kitchen during the Redo Cabinets 4th of July event. Redo Cabinets, where hundreds of homeowners have discovered the benefits of refacing old kitchen cabinets, celebrates America's 250th birthday. Redo Cabinets, where you'll find premium cabinet facings made here in the USA, and you can choose from dozens of colors, various hardware, and accessory selections. During the Redo Cabinets 4th of July celebration, get $1,776 off your entire cabinet project and a free backsplash, and no payments for 12 months. That's right, no payments until 2027. Incredible savings. Call us today for a free, no obligation consultation. Redo Cabinets, 414-677-6417. That's 414-677-6417. Or visit us online at redocabinets.com. Don't replace it, redo it with Redo Cabinets.
Streaming services, retail chains, and tech giants are all adding plus to their names. It's fairly obvious they were inspired by Hasselus mattress. Hasselus showrooms are employee-free, plus unbeatable prices on Tempur-Pedic, plus free next-day delivery, plus 60-month interest-free financing on select Tempur-Pedic with approved credit, plus a $300 MasterCard gift card with your Tempur-Pedic mattress. Maybe we should change our name to Hasselus Plus. Find an employee-free showroom near you at Hasselus.com.
Lake Geneva is the Midwest's premier golf destination, featuring breathtaking views, crystal clear lakes, and rolling fairways. Treat yourself to an all-inclusive golf getaway with courses designed for all skill levels, luxurious lodging, distinctive dining, and a relaxing spa. Plan a Lake Geneva group golf outing, a corporate event, or a weekend getaway with friends or family. Their pros will help you plan a memorable golf experience. For info on courses and more, visit lakegeneva.com today. Lake Geneva, it's always been the place for legendary golf.
Time for a WTMJ sports update from the Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all sports desk. Brewers splitting their series with the Giants, falling in the series finale yesterday, 12-9 at American Family Field. Manager Pat Murphy with an interesting description for the season so far.
This season and every season will give you the full catastrophe, the full Major League catastrophe. We've had a surplus of injuries early. We've got 3 starters out right now, Priester, Woodruff, and Henderson. We've got relievers like Zerpa and Koenig that were going to be part of it. That's 5 major injuries. But, we've always found a way.
Brewers starting a 3-game series on the road against the Rockies tonight. Brandon Sproat taking the mound. Our coverage starting at 7:05 right here on WTMJ. Packers entering the final stretch of their offseason program. Mandatory minicamp will start next Tuesday. And tonight, Game 2 in the NBA Finals, a 7:30 tip with the Knicks leading the Spurs by 1 game. You can hear that game over on our sister station, 94.5 ESPN.
Checking out the roads with your WTMJ time saver traffic, and I like what I am seeing for a Friday afternoon. No crashes, just a couple of disabled vehicles out in the system, and they are not causing issues. The only thing I see out there are just a little bit of a delay in our construction zones around American Family Field, 94 eastbound and westbound, also 4145 in the Butler area and the Mayfair Mall area, but that is typical. That's a nice report. And this traffic report sponsored by Marty's Pizza in Delafield.
Remember, Marty's Pizza. Ooh.
Right off I-94 and Highway 83 in Delafield.
Your WTMJ forecast, it's been a wet Friday for us. Still seeing some lingering showers kind of across the area. High getting up around 78 today, but then we'll continue to see maybe some isolated showers and storms tonight, a low down to 63. Maybe a sprinkle early then Saturday, otherwise mostly sunny. Shaping up to be a nice Saturday, a high of 83 degrees. Sunny and less humid than Sunday with highs in the low 70s. And then could see showers and storms return early next week on Monday with a high near 80. Right now, 70 degrees in Milwaukee.
Live from the Annex Wealth Management Studios in downtown Milwaukee, it's Wisconsin's Midday News, making stories come to life. Now, here are your hosts, Jessica Ty, and in for Greg Matzik, it's Neil Doyle.
Happy Friday, everybody. Greg has a day off, so we've got Neil the Real Deal Doyle.
Happy Friday.
How did that ever start?
I feel like you're the go-to that says that, but I've certainly got Neil the Real Deal before. It rolls off the tongue.
I feel like I just walked into the newsroom one day, said it, and now it's stuck.
It has stuck.
It's stuck, and I like it.
I do too.
Thanks for joining us, Neil.
Of course.
Well, coming up this hour, before the rockets, before the riches, and way before the $1 trillion talk, there were real fears SpaceX might go out of business. Just days before its Wall Street debut, a former SpaceX VP with Milwaukee ties joins us for some Elon talk. Plus, do you know the rules before you walk through the gate? A local festival dispute is raising questions about dress codes, security policies, and your rights at private events. But first,
it's now at noon on Wisconsin's Midday News.
Happening now, the President of the United States is on his way to Wisconsin. Air Force One has left Washington, D.C. en route to Chippewa Falls. This will be President Trump's first visit to Wisconsin since being reelected. The president is holding a roundtable in Chippewa Falls at 3 o'clock this afternoon. The White House tells us the focus is American agriculture, so they're talking farming. Right before the roundtable, the president will participate in a taped interview. I wonder who's going to get that exclusive.
That's what I've been wondering.
It seems to be a network. It's not Matt Smith over at
I was
12.
wondering, is it going to be local? But I
talked with him. He said no. I did reach out to Charles Benson at 4. Have not heard back from Charles yet. We'll see. But I have a feeling. I'm feeling that this is a network one. WTMJ has confirmed Congressman Tom Tiffany and Derek Van Orden will attend. We also know Wisconsin gubernatorial candidate Missy Hughes plans to lead a protest at the Eau Claire Airport. President Trump's visit to Chippewa Falls comes as his approval rating has dropped to its lowest point so far. That's according to the latest Marquette Law School poll, which just came out on Wednesday.
Cost of attending a University of Wisconsin school going up again. The UW Board of Regents voting yesterday 15-1. They approved a 2% tuition hike for undergraduates. That's for the upcoming school year, along with a 3.5% increase for segregated fees. Now that moves Annual tuition and fees at UW-Madison now just over $12,000. At UW-Milwaukee, tuition and fees now standing just over $11,000. Now, university leaders say the increase still remains below the rate of inflation, and the reason for this to help cover some rising costs, utilities, maintenance, salaries, other student services. But Regents also warning, even though they approved it yesterday, that the increase not going to solve all of the system's financial challenges.
The reality is we will still need to make hard decisions despite passing a 2% increase.
Regents saying the UW system still remains one of the most affordable public university systems across the Midwest, and that's despite now 4 straight years of tuition increases.
One of the biggest AI companies in the world is now calling for a freeze on AI research. Anthropic, the company behind Claude, says the technology is advancing so quickly that the AI systems may soon be able to advance themselves without human input. ABC's Sophie Flay has the details.
Now, Anthropic is calling for a freeze on AI development, saying, "We believe it would be good for the world to have the option to slow or temporarily pause frontier AI development to enable societal structures and alignment research to keep up with the advance of the technology."
They also say researchers should build a way for humans to intervene if things get out of hand. Fingers crossed here, everybody. Well, up next, could something as simple as a hoodie get you kicked out of a festival? A local incident is sparking a bigger conversation about summer event rules. It's 12:13.
For growing businesses, digital marketing shouldn't be a gamble. If your business needs results, not guesswork, it's time for a different approach. At Margle Media, we deliver real results for businesses in an evolving digital world. Backed by data, guided by strategy, and focused on actionable outcomes. We partner with businesses of all sizes to drive growth locally or nationwide. Set up a free consultation today. Visit us at marglemedia.com. That's MARGLE media.com.
Are you worried about running out of money in retirement? Wondering about how to pay less taxes? Join me, Tony Drake, for the Retirement Ready Show, live every Saturday at noon and Sunday at 7 a.m. on WTMJ 620 or 103.3 FM. We'll talk about smart strategies to help you retire with confidence. Don't miss it.
Drake & Associates LLC is an independent investment advisory firm that offers a variety of different investment vehicles. This commercial is provided for informational purposes only and should not be construed as individual investment advice. Drake & Associates LLC does not provide legal or tax advice. Past performance is not indicative of future performance.
Are you hosting an event, launching something new, wanting to get the word out about your part of the state? Be a featured guest on the WTMJ Experience Wisconsin show. Share your story, promote your event or business, and connect with fans all across the state. I'm John Merkier. I'd love to interview you. We reach listeners from Milwaukee to Madison, Green Bay to La Crosse, everywhere in between. It's Experience Wisconsin. Ready to shine a spotlight on your business or company? Email me, john@WTMJ.com for more information. john@WTMJ.com.
Healthy joints, healthy lifestyle. Vince Vetrano for Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin. Arthritis, injuries, wear and tear, common joint issues that keep you from doing what you love. At OAW, a visit to the doctor doesn't always mean surgery. Everyone is different. Surgeons, nurses, physical therapists work together to come up with a plan for you. Maybe it's PT, medication, injection, and if you do need surgery like I did, you know you're in the best of hands. Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin, there is a difference. Book an appointment online at orthowisconsin.com.
Summer festival season is in full swing in southeastern Wisconsin now, and most of us don't think twice about the rules. But a confrontation at the Dan Jansen Family Fest is raising some important questions. Do people actually know the rules before they walk in? Are those rules communicated clearly? And what happens when someone challenges those rules? The incident started over a hoodie. WTMJ community reporter Tori Lowe joins us with his first report for the station and some important lessons for families heading to festivals this summer. Does it feel good to have that first report filed for WTMJ?
Let me tell you something. It's a blessing. I'm just so elated to be a part of the 620 WTMJ staff. And here we go with a situation where a family is just on a ride. There's a mom, there's a son, and there's an auntie. And the auntie and the mom goes on a ride. The son is 16 years old. He's waiting for them to get off the ride. But he's approached by security, and they say, hey, remove your hoodie. And I think he gets into a point where he doesn't understand why. And these are policies, and private festivals have policies. And one of the policies is no worn hoodies. You can't have the hoodie up.
You got to have it down. You can wear
have
a
it
hoodie,
down.
but
you can wear it, but you can't have it up. And so the mom got off the ride and became confrontational by asking why, and she felt that her son was being targeted. But really, we have to make sure that people understand there are clear rules to festivals. And I think that they found out maybe the hard way.
So what reasons are event organizers giving for these types of rules, and maybe the hoodie rule specifically?
Well, the thing is, I think that with last summer, with all of this disruptive behavior with teens, this is from where I kind of see that they're trying to make policies to try to kind of curve a lot of that. And I think that a lot of people don't see those policies or dress codes when they come into the gates. And I just say, if you are approached by security and they ask you to do something, just do it, because I think that now we have to really, with this article, educate the community on that this may be something that you may run into just being out and about at these festivals. Now, this happened at the Dan Jensen Festival, but we don't know if this is something that has been adopted across the board for festivals, especially private festivals.
And Tori, you were able to talk with Greenfield Police, who responded to this incident. Kind of, what did they have to say, and kind of break down their side of it as to what happened?
I mean, they were assisting the security on the grounds. They were called to the incident from the security. So the police, their involvement is, we got a call of the security trying to make a family exit. They came, they showed up. There is body cam footage. And salute to the acting Greenfield Police Chief for giving me the body cam footage. If you want to see that, it's on 620 WTMJ on YouTube. But it's just one of those situations where it seems like there wasn't a clear communication with the family and with the security that no hoodies. This is a policy. And we have a right to kick you out if you're not going by the rules. And I think that that's where the mom felt that her son was being targeted as a black child because all of the things that took place over the last couple years at festivals, at State Fair. And I think that many times we just have to get a clear understanding and make sure that we know the rules when we go to festivals.
So were the festival's policies clearly posted and available for people to see before entering, or is this something where you really had to take it upon yourself and go online? Because if I think about it, the only time I have ever looked up rules for any festival or event was as a woman wondering if I could bring a person, because we know throughout the years that has changed. That is the only time I have ever looked for rules, and I just don't think a lot of people are going out of their way to do that. But were they posted clearly?
Well, I was told that they were posted at the front, and there is clear rules. No book bags, no headbands or bandanas, no hats. Hats must be worn forward. Hoodies must be worn down at all times. No coverings, no face coverings except for religious or medical purposes. So these are things that they say are posted, but when you go into a festival, I don't know if a lot of people are just looking around to see posted policies.
No.
And so this is something where I feel that at least a lot of the festival goers can be educated on this because, hey, I'm just out to have a good time. And the family seems that they were out just having a good time when this happened. It was just only the 16-year-old, his mom, and his auntie. It wasn't him with a bunch of youth, and he was just standing there waiting for them to get off a ride. So maybe if the policy was communicated a little bit better, we don't have this situation.
Kind of where does this go from here? And I guess as well with police that did approach the teen, asked him to take the hoodie down and then leave. Kind of where did it go from there? Because it seemed like maybe it escalated just a little bit.
Well, I think the mom kind of was triggered because she felt that the police were harassing her son. And at that point, moms get into protective mode. And I think that at that time, she just felt that she had to protect her son, which caused her to be defensive, which put the security on defense. And I think that right there was the miscommunication of, hey, you got to leave. After they told her to leave, they have a right at private festivals to, if you're breaking rules or policies, to tell you to leave. And I think that that is where the confrontation began. If you watch the body cam footage, it's on 620 WTMJ online right now, where you can see the whole thing. It's about a 4-minute video, and you can make the decision for yourself what could have happened or what could have been done different to prevent this.
And you made sure to go ahead and get all the sides here. We do have parts of that interview.
I feel like everybody should know that they should be able to go anywhere and not be targeted just because one bad apple. You know, it's like, it's hard to go out and have fun. These kids barely have anything to do as it is. And just because one bad incident happened doesn't mean that every black kid is a bad kid.
That maybe there is a lesson learned here, and maybe both the community and other law enforcement agencies see this and find a better way to communicate those things, to understand that we're all on the same page. We're all here to have a safe, fun time in an environment, and the police only want to make it safe.
So that first sound we heard was from the teen's mom, and then there as well, the interim police chief in Greenfield. So.
Right. The mom was definitely, she had to go to the hospital because she received bruises, and her son received a citation for disorderly conduct.
So this wasn't just a thing of like, hey, what are you talking about? I don't know these rules. I mean, this got tense.
Yeah, it definitely got tense. And once again, the body cam footage, a lot of people are talking about it. It's causing a lot of conversation. But what I'll say is this, when I talk to both sides, I think that both sides could have done a little bit better with kind of just understanding what the policy was, what was the violation, and communicating on moving forward, or just simply leave or take the hoodie off. I think that seems like, oh, it's just over a hoodie, but there was an arrest.
So what kind of feedback are you getting on this story? Because I know you're out there in social media and you got a lot of people chiming in always for you. And I'm just wondering if they feel like, okay, thanks, Tori. I'm glad to know this because I didn't know. Or are they saying, what the heck? This is a ridiculous rule with a hoodie. What's the response you're getting?
It's kind of mixed. I think that some people are saying, hey, they need this policy at every festival because of what happened over the last few years with a lot of the young teens, a lot of things at State Fair, a lot of things at Summerfest. I think we have all seen a lot of things online that were kind of disturbing with the young people. And I think that a lot of people feel that any safety measure that can make us safe as fairgoers could help. Then there's another group of people that's saying, hey, they're targeting young black teens due to the takeovers and what happened at Bayshore. So I'm starting to see a mixture of different conversations. But overall, people say, hey, just take the hoodie off. If they tell you to take the hoodie off, take it off.
And does it seem like, obviously we are getting into the full force here of festival season, maybe that some of these other festivals coming up will be pretty clear with their policies and make sure that people are aware kind of what the rules are before they enter some of these festivals?
And that's the hope. With this article, it's early. We got a full summer of activities. And maybe this is a teachable moment to where these policies are well displayed and well communicated for festival goers for the rest of the year.
WTMJ community reporter Tori Lowe with his first report. Thank you so much.
Hey, thank y'all for having me.
Time right now is 12:25. Coming up next, we've got local news and your top national headlines.
Who doesn't need a seasonal wardrobe update? But who has the cash to always keep their wardrobe updated? Ladies, that's why you shop St. Vincent de Paul. Our women's clothing is always a highlight of our stores, and thrift store prices keep the costs low. It allows you to experiment and also find a hidden gem. St. Vincent de Paul thrift stores on Highway 100 in Layton and Greenfield, 23rd in Lincoln, and 76th and Bradley Road in Milwaukee.
Ooh, you're gonna love it, St. Vincent de Paul.
For those with a warm weather fashion passion, try St. Vincent de Paul thrift stores because that's where you'll find a vast array of men's, women's, girls, and boys' warm weather apparel at the friendliest prices. So many choices and at such a value. You can fill the closet without draining your wallet. Shop warm weather fashions at St. Vincent de Paul thrift stores on Highway 100 in Layton and Greenfield, 23rd in Lincoln, and 76th and Bradley Road in Milwaukee.
You're gonna love it, St. Vincent de Paul.
And now, about your house. Eric Brown is the president of Siding Unlimited, your contractor for new windows, roofing, siding, decks, and a whole lot more. He knows about your house. So what do you know, Eric?
Recently, Siding Unlimited installed new windows in a home, and the homeowner loved the experience. Linda W. said,
I was extremely satisfied with the service that was provided by Siding Unlimited. I had a new roof and new windows installed in my house. Linda loved that she chose the right company for peace of mind. She also loved the colors. Larry, another Siding Unlimited customer, was thrilled with the experience. Larry's home looks brand new. Go to our Siding Unlimited Instagram page and see our pinned message to listen to Larry's testimonial, but also see his house. Again, Siding Unlimited, knocking it out of the park. Looking for new windows, siding, roofing, and doors? Visit the 5-time Pella Platinum Premier National Window Contractor of the Year winner at sidingunlimited.com. Definitely listen to Larry on Instagram at Siding Unlimited LLC.
Eric and his crews at Siding Unlimited are your go-to contractor here for roofing and also replacement windows, decks, and of course siding. They've done it all at the Matzik households over the years. It started with windows, transforming our 1953 Milwaukee home into something beautiful. And then, on our new house, brand new LP Smart Side siding. Built 8 years ago, our house still looks brand new. Make sure to connect with Eric about patio projects as well. They've expanded our outdoor living space to an area fit with a beautiful cedar pergola, paver patio, gas fire pit, and more. The best in lighting? I can control it from my phone. All there at Siding Unlimited. Truly siding and a whole lot more. Take the next step and check them out at sidingunlimited.com. Siding Unlimited. Truly siding and a whole lot more.
At Blaine's Farm and Fleet, we know dads. The ones who know how to build it all, grill it all, and fix it all while still taking the time to share it all. This Father's Day, give your dad a gift he'll love. Like assorted 10-ounce bags of World Kitchen's jerky, just $9.99. A 16-inch power tool storage rack is on sale, $24.99. And assorted real truck tonneau covers are 15% off. Find value on the gifts he'll value. Blaine's Farm and Fleet. Be an original.
The news you need to know every weekday on Wisconsin's Morning News.
A vote to raise in-state tuition by 2%. This would be the fourth year in a row tuition would go up after a 10-year tuition freeze.
Every time we've talked about in this country making college more affordable, and I mean lawmakers, all that's meant heretofore has been, let's make loans more accessible. That didn't make it any more affordable. It just made it possible for you to go deep into debt.
Yeah.
I could get a loan for a Ferrari. It's not affordable for me.
Only here on WTMJ.
Here's to sweet summer days together with friends and family in Wisconsin. To discovering magic in every moment.
Hey, Mom, over here.
And to reconnecting through a world filled with wonder.
Wow.
Here's to supper club celebrations and dancing until the sun goes down. Here's to those who Wisconsin. Plan your summer getaway at travelwisconsin.com.
Prizes, flyaways, even cash money. You want it? We've got it. Find a list of all contests and official rules by visiting WTMJ.com/contests.
That's WTMJ.com/contest.
To the Badger State.
I'm Neil Doyle. New police body cam footage in the arrest of a teen.
We are dealing with showers and storms today. We have a high of 78. We're getting
at best. Young people are finding it tough to break into the job market because so many companies, while they aren't firing people, aren't really hiring them either. And employees haven't been leaving jobs they don't like either. The number of people who quit in April dropped to the lowest level since August of 2020 when COVID was running rampant. Sherry Preston, ABC News.
There was a hearing today on the Trump administration's efforts to build a ballroom at the White House, with lawyers for the president appealing a judge's decision, which had required the project to get congressional approval. And in Virginia, a life sentence for Brendan Banfield, the man convicted earlier this year of murdering his wife Christine and a man named Joseph Ryan. This is ABC News.
Decision Wisconsin. Farmers in Chippewa Falls hit hard by rising prices get a visit from President Trump this afternoon. The president rallied hard in the Badger State back in 2024. News Nation's Kelly Meyer.
This is Trump's first visit to the state since returning to the White House. A White House official telling News Nation, quote, Wisconsin families put their faith in President Trump in 2024, and he has spent every single day since taking office fighting and delivering for them. All of this becoming key issues ahead of the midterms, which are just 5 months away now. President Trump won the state narrowly back in 2024. Biden won it back in 2020.
The president will host a roundtable discussion with farmers coming up at 3 o'clock this afternoon.
Menominee Falls police releasing new body camera footage in the arrest of a 13-year-old.
Hold on, let me get this. Stop.
Audio courtesy of the Menominee Falls Police Department. The video from May 21st depicts the officers briefly placing a hand on the boy's neck shoulder area while turning him over to handcuff him, while his family tells them, quote, "Don't put your hand on his throat." Police say they cannot disclose the specific charge the boy was under arrest for because he is a minor, but call the actions during the arrest, quote, "reasonable and justified." Elizabeth Linton in WTMJ News.
A large shredder for scrapping cars catches fire in the Menominee Valley. Milwaukee Fire Department crews battled a 3-alarm fire for more than an hour yesterday at Alter Metal Recycling near 16th and Bruce. Fires happen pretty frequently there. Milwaukee Fire Chief Aaron Lipsky says every single time, firefighters encounter the same challenge.
This enormous plot of land has what are referred to as private fire hydrants that have never been upgraded or maintained to support real-world firefighting, despite numerous first alarm, second alarm, third alarm, fourth alarm, 5-alarm fires on this property.
Lipsky says that forces crews to use more than 2,000 feet of hose in order to get the proper amount of water needed.
A heads up for drivers, yet another weekend closure planned for the Mitchell interchange.
Eric Hansen of the DOT says northbound 94 drivers should expect the collector distributor lanes to shut down for paving work.
This closure is located on the south leg of the interchange, and this will involve a full closure of the I-94 northbound collector distributor roadway.
It'll also affect the ramps to the airport spur and Layton Avenue, along with the College Avenue on-ramp. So if you need to get to the airport,
College Avenue will get you over to Howell Avenue, and that'll give you access to the airport.
The closure starts at 9 p.m. on Friday and should be open by 8 a.m. on Sunday.
It's WTMJ's Debbie Lozica with that update. The closure is weather dependent.
Southeastern Wisconsin is finally getting some much-needed rain. This helps the moderate drought conditions throughout the region. WTMJ meteorologist Craig Copleen says after this rain, it's really going to feel like summer.
We won't really have unusual heat this weekend. Next week looks really warm with highs on Tuesday in the mid to upper 80s, Wednesday around 90, Thursday and Friday maybe low to mid 90s.
Copleen says the other thing you'll notice today, the humidity. And let me tell you, I looked outside this morning, I woke up, looked out the windows, and it was raining. It kind of felt like it seemed nice. We needed some rain.
A late spring rain, yeah.
Exactly. But then I drove to work, I got out, opened the car door in the parking lot, and I was like, ooh, you can feel that. Feel that humidity, indeed.
Sports, traffic, weather are next. Outdoor Living Unlimited, WTMJ News Time, 12:35.
AccuNet Mortgage is an equal housing lender. NMLS ID 255368.
This is Chief Homebuyer Helper Brian Wickert. One of our senior loan consultants recently helped their first-time homebuyer client win over 13 other offers. Of course, it was a team effort with their buyer's agent, and it centered around helping our clients understand what little difference there was to their monthly payment to offer over the asking price. And again, what little difference it would make to give the sellers peace of mind that they'd still buy even if the appraisal came in up to $20,000 short. But that's not all. Our consultant also texted and called the listing agent to reinforce how well qualified our buyers were and that they could, in fact, still close even if the appraisal came in low. Your AccuNet consultant will help you understand your options so you can decide how aggressive you want to be. Then we do everything possible to help you win. Don't let someone else end up sleeping in your dream home. Know your options and get your rock-solid guaranteed pre-approval by clicking on the blue button at AccuNet.com. That's ACCUNET.com.
When it's time to explore assisted living, it's easy to feel overwhelmed. That's why we partnered with the American Seniors Housing Association to promote whereyouLiveMatters.org. I'm Mike from the Wisconsin Assisted Living Association. For over 30 years, our organization of more than 2,000 facility members has led through advocacy, education, and support to help advance quality care. That's why Wisconsin families trust WALA. When it's time to search for assisted living for yourself or a loved one, visit whereyouLiveMatters.org.
See Europe from a completely different perspective with Avalon Waterways. Fox World Travel is proud to offer Avalon's award-winning river cruises featuring their signature panorama suites with floor-to-ceiling windows. Wake up to a new postcard-perfect village every morning as you sail the Rhine, Danube, or Seine in total comfort. Whether you're a foodie or a history buff, Avalon has the perfect itinerary for you. Plus, ask about our special Fox exclusive offers. Start your journey at foxworldtravel.com or call 866-GO-FOX-GO.
Time for a WTMJ sports update from the Gruber Law Offices. One called That's All Sports Desk. Brewers coming off a split at home against the Giants, losing in the series finale yesterday 12-9. Brewers now starting a 6-game road trip. That begins in Colorado tonight against the Rockies. Brandon Sproat on the mound tonight for the Crew. All of our coverage starting at 7:05 here on WTMJ. Packers entering the final stretch of their offseason program. Mandatory minicamp will start next week for Green Bay. And tonight, Game 2 in the NBA Finals. The New York Knicks leading the San Antonio Spurs by 1 game, a 7:30 tip in San Antonio. You can hear that game over on 94.5 ESPN.
Let's get you an update on the roads right now with your WTMJ Time Saver Traffic. We do have an issue. It's a new crash in downtown Milwaukee. It looks like a nasty one, too. I-43 North at 145 Fond du Lac Avenue. The 2 left lanes are blocked due to this crash. And I just watched, as Neil was giving that sports report there, as a fire truck pulled up. Firefighters just jumped out of that truck. There are no flames, but they're there to help the people inside this vehicle. Emergency responders are there as well. And I do see, it looks like, and actually this will probably be verified right now. Yep, indeed. It looks like the car is actually facing the other way. So I'm not sure if it hit the embankment and spun around or what exactly happened. But hopefully the injuries are not serious in this one. This is a brand new crash in downtown Milwaukee. Heads up if you're driving through. It's on I-43 North at 145 Fond du Lac Avenue. 2 left lanes are blocked.
Been a wet Friday for us. Showers and storms moving across the area. Still have some lingering rain out there here in the afternoon. High around 78 degrees, and then we'll still see some isolated shower and storm chances tonight. A low down to 63. Into the weekend, maybe a couple of showers early Saturday. Otherwise, mostly sunny. Highs in the low 80s. Sunny and less humid. Sunday's shaping up to be a nice one, a high of 73. And then moving into early next week, we'll see showers and storms return on Monday with a high of 80. Right now, 70 degrees in Milwaukee.
Elon Musk is already the world's richest man. Now a massive SpaceX IPO could make him the world's first trillionaire. SpaceX says it plans to raise $75 billion in what would be the largest stock market debut ever. We're just days away from this. But there was a time when SpaceX wasn't so big. In fact, it was a company that wasn't sure it would survive. A Milwaukee native knows this firsthand. Randy Knaflick served as vice president of human resources at SpaceX back in 2012, and he joins us live on Wisconsin's Midday News. Great to have you back, Randy.
Yeah, good to be back, Jessica. Lots happened since we last met.
Yes, and I just think about this. If you could put today's SpaceX valuation in front of all those workers sitting in the cafeteria back in 2012, what would the reaction have been?
You know, I'm mixed because I think part of the group would have just been dumbfounded and shaking their head, and the other, those that at least were introduced to Elon's convictions would have said, yeah, of course. I mean, that seems like a good starting point.
So what was it like inside SpaceX when failure was still a real possibility?
Yeah, it really was. In fact, I remember after I joined Gwen Shotwell, who's the vice president, sort of Elon's right hand, I remember her very distinctly telling me after I'd left Google, she said, you know, Randy, there's a pretty good chance that we don't stay in business. We go out of business. And if you look back just even shortly before I joined, you know, the company had done 3 launches that were unsuccessful. And I think people forget how hard the SpaceX team worked and the risks that were taken and the money that was put into it by Elon himself. And literally they had 1 launch left before the company would be out of business. That 4th launch. And of course, that 4th launch would go on to they'd become the first private company to put a rocket into space and to orbit it. And so 9 out of 10 startups fail, and this was a success story that it's easy to forget, especially when you see how much the company is doing.
Wow.
You know, the headlines, Randy, obviously the valuation, you know, where Elon's wealth is going to go here. But knowing him, does it really seem like the wealth at all matters, or is this just another part of his vision? You know, obviously a lot of money involved, but does this kind of allow him to even maybe achieve even more of his goals?
Yeah, and that's actually a great point, because I think a lot of people, when they imagine they'll hear this headline or read this headline that, you know, Elon Musk first trillionaire, which is going to happen, and they hear this and they imagine Scrooge McDuck, doing the backstroke and all these coins and that, but that he doesn't have $1 trillion sitting around. And in fact, this wealth is tied up in some of the most innovative and groundbreaking companies we've ever seen. So of course, SpaceX, but Tesla, XAI, Neuralink, X. So $1 trillion isn't cash, but it's basically the value that the world places on the companies he's built and the things that they've been able to accomplish. So also, Elon, I think, is pretty unique. If you think about the world's maybe wealthiest, you might hear the stories about the yacht that gets stuck in some harbor or the outfitted private jet. Elon is very simple. He puts his money back into the companies. And I think that the value that he's been able to create and that he will benefit from is what he will actually continue to put back into reinvesting into the companies.
If you're just joining us now, we're talking with Randy Knaflic, who served as Vice President of Human Resources at SpaceX back in 2012. He's a Milwaukee native. Come next week, Randy, what do you think investors are really buying here? Is it the rocket business or Elon Musk himself?
I hope it's not Elon Musk himself. I mean, clearly that plays such a critical role, but if you flip the side of it, if Elon's not in the picture for whatever reason, that's a little dangerous from an investment standpoint. But investors they're not even betting on rockets. So they're betting on essentially what is the infrastructure layer for AI, communication, transportation, defense, and then eventually space. So he's built this ecosystem. And this is where I remember when we last spoke, I mentioned, he's not playing a game and he's many steps ahead of you. He's already beat you in one game and he's playing a completely different game that you don't realize you're playing. So his ability to see forward multiple steps, even for me, I remember being there and they were talking about the satellite business and how this was going to be a cornerstone. I didn't fully understand that they would be the largest, they have nearly 10,000 satellites in orbit and have created what will soon be and possibly the largest internet infrastructure that people can access. So he's built this ecosystem. Think back to, railroads, think back to the internet, those that were able to build the infrastructure. So he's got reusable rockets, he's got Starship, he's got Starlink, delivering stunning internet video quality of rocket launches, Starshield X. He's going to build Terafab, which many don't know about, but will essentially be the ability to process chips because we need it. And then now with this concept of data centers in space to power AI, this might be something that people think is crazy. But again, remember when I met with him and he said, we need to be a multiplanetary species colonizing Mars. At the time, everybody thought he was crazy. And now you'll see people wearing Mars shirts, Occupy Mars.
When you go public, Randy, obviously there's a lot of pressure from shareholders and those in the public. Do you think that kind of fits the company, which is so mission driven already? And we talked about the obstacles the company has already overcome. It kind of seems like it's fitting in that regard.
Yeah, in some ways, I remember early on Elon really not being someone who was keen on going public. This wasn't something you should talk about. It's not what we're about. He saw what some of the trade-offs with taking Tesla public was in terms of, investor calls and having to be accountable. I think it's good, and I think the companies, from my vantage point, again, I'm just an outsider looking in, is that he's really built a repeatable business, a lot of predictability. They've learned to overcome kind of some of these hiccups that might show up and throw things off. But there's going to be a lot of volatility. I think that you're dealing with a launch that, okay, if a launch doesn't go well, what happens to the stock price? And so I think he's actually set up this IPO in a way where he's learned a lot of lessons. And just even the fact that if you've watched, this is going to be available to so many retail investors, meaning just you and I can go on E-Trade or on Robinhood or Fidelity, and the levels are low. And I think he realizes that those who want to bet on the future, and I'm not giving any financial advice, but those who want to bet on the future are going to be able to participate and be in it for the long game. So I would say it's going to be interesting to watch. And again, it's not surprising that Elon's going to be the first trillionaire. He sort of has this record of firsts for all the things that he has been able to do.
You called yourself an outsider, but at one time you were an insider. And I'm just curious, on the grand scale, what did Elon do during those uncertain moments at work that convinced people to keep going with this?
Yeah, he was an incredible motivator and both, but I wouldn't say a cheerleader. So he perhaps has a reputation now. And in fact, there's a great book that people should check out called Liftoff by Eric Berger, which I checked out not so long ago. And I read it, and because a lot of it had to do with when I was there. And it was so reminiscent of my time there, where how difficult it was and the risks and how hard so many people worked. And again, remember the employee population there, rocket scientists, but welders, people who are working in the automotive industry who are now seeing their work docked to the International Space Station. So he was very good at pulling together, and definitely he had a bent towards we can work harder, but he operated from first principles. And so if this is possible, we should be able to find a way to do it. Just like the idea of landing a rocket. It frustrates me that not every school is watching every rocket launch and landing, because this is engineering and hard work and perseverance at its greatest. And people just, oh, that's cool, he just landed a rocket. I mean, this has never been done before, and yet it's something that has completely driven the cost of space travel and launches, like cut it more than in half. And that's what's given SpaceX this huge edge in the industry, is that they're just so far ahead because they figured out how to drive the costs out. So Elon had that ability, and he also had the ability to roll up his sleeves. You've heard the stories of him sleeping on the factory floor, but he would get down into the weeds, learn and understand something at a level that would par the most expert person on that subject, and be able to really push and press and say, why isn't this working? So I think it's one of his unique characteristics.
Well, Randy, this is fascinating perspective. I really appreciate you coming back on the show today to join us again.
It's great to be here. It'll be fun to watch, and let's stay tuned.
Yeah, just a couple days away. That's Randy Knaflick, who served as Vice President of Human Resources at SpaceX in 2012. It's 12:48. Up next, the Week in Review.
When we were kids on the farm growing up, there was a wheat, yellow rocket, but we always slanged it mustard.
Ben and Arvid Huth, brothers and owners of Penny Mustard Furnishings.
Dad didn't want the mustard on the farm.
No.
It was kind of invasive. Dad would just have us pick them. We would go into the hay fields and we'd walk in the hay fields and we'd pick those fields clean. And he paid us a penny a plant.
Yeah.
Somebody had seen the story about us picking mustard.
One of the people that was submitting names.
One of the people that was submitting names for the contest submitted the name Penny Mustard. Actually, 2 people submitted that name.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of crazy names submitted.
Gosh be darn, who's Furniture Barn? I remember that was one submission we had.
When we narrowed it down to 50 names or so, we kind of just looked at it and I'm like, there it is. This is it. It's Penny Mustard.
It was glaringly obvious to us.
See more at pennymustard.com.
In hindsight, I'm not sure if Dad cared about the mustard or he just wanted to keep us busy.
Yeah. In hindsight, I think he wanted to keep us busy.
Smart.
A buck doesn't buy much unless you're spending it at Griffin. For just $1 over cost, you can buy brand new tires from us. This is Jim Griffin. Any major brand, $1 over our cost with free tire repair and lifetime rotation. We'll even show you the invoice to prove it. Our only requirements, we put them on for you. Buy one or the whole set. The dollar deal from Griffin. Milwaukee and Waukesha. Griffin. The buck stops here, but the deals on tires don't. That's Griffin.
Not combinable with other tire offers.
Are you worried about running out of money in retirement? Wondering about how to pay less taxes? Join me, Tony Drake, for the Retirement Ready Show, live every Saturday at noon and Sunday at 7 a.m. on WTMJ 620 or 103.3 FM. We'll talk about smart strategies to help you retire with confidence. Don't miss it.
Drake & Associates LLC is an independent investment advisory firm that offers a variety of different investment vehicles. This commercial is provided for informational purposes only and should not be construed as individual investment advice. Drake & Associates LLC does not provide legal or tax advice. Past performance is not indicative of future performance.
Are you sick and tired of overpriced fish fries? I am. I recommend the fish fry at the Mine Shaft Restaurant in Hartford. WTMJ's John Mercure. The haddock fish fry is all you can eat, $8.99. You'll pay twice that at other restaurants. I love the Mine Shaft fish fry. After a long week, escape from your kitchen with a cold beverage and a delicious all-you-can-eat fish fry. Desserts are buy one, get one free, and a kids menu starts at $3.99. And those kids can safely play in the world-class game room, quietly set away from the dining area while you finish up your meal. Take your family to the Mine Shaft today for the all-you-can-eat haddock fish fry at just $8.99. It's an incredible value. That's a crazy low price. The Saturday breakfast buffet is all you can eat for under $10. The Mine Shaft in downtown Hartford, lots of seating, lots of close parking. Also in Oshkosh near the EAA. Dig into that all-you-can-eat haddock fish fry today. Serving from 10:30. Arrive early, beat the rush. Google the Mine Shaft Restaurant and enjoy that fish fry.
An unexpected landing, a news icon fired, a Badgers legend calls it quits, and more.
It's the Week in Review, brought to you by Outdoor Living Unlimited.
What we do here is go back.
Dr. Cindy Jones-Nosacek returned from Uganda a couple weeks before this whole Ebola story broke.
The problem is just a lack of trust in the government. Now, the Catholic Church and the Catholic hospital system in the DRC is probably the one system that they trust the most.
TV Wars is back, causing the blackout of some local channels here in Milwaukee. This time it's EW Scripps in a showdown with DirecTV.
Of the 369,000 jobs added to the U.S. economy since last year, 96% went to women, 4% to men.
That is wild.
It's a 50-50 population.
A 75-year-old passenger on a United flight from Chicago to Minneapolis tried to repeatedly breach the cockpit. The initial report was labeled a potential hijacker.
That is a very dangerous and very powerful word to use that you will want to avoid at all costs unless that accurately describes the situation.
Bud Selig is among those keeping a close eye on the ongoing labor negotiations between Major League Baseball owners and the Players Union.
If you believe you're in the top half of the first inning, you're not even there yet.
Somebody's back on local TV.
All right, Ms. Nansky, who's your friend? Come on, say
John
it.
Milan is coming back.
Well, it's Steve Scaffidi's Salute to Service.
Again?
Do they know when they're working versus when they can relax and be playful and be a dog?
Everything's on command. This is how we vet the dogs.
Pablo Sanchez. He was in the ballpark. Why?
I thought it was a joke. I didn't know it even existed till this morning.
The beautiful and talented Miss Wisconsin, Willow Newell, is not going to lie. We're shedding a couple of tears because she's in the home stretch of her reign.
I remember I went to Iron County for a fair, and a young girl, and she was just surprised to see a girl who looked like me. So to be able to show people that representation and that someone like me could exist and have a crown has been super special.
Proud new dad, quarterback Jordan Love, about 3 weeks into being a father.
My wife, she's doing a great job, fantastic job, allowing me to try and get as much sleep as I can.
I can tell you, as a fan, that was my primary concern.
CBS News terminating 60 Minutes veteran Scott Pelley.
I was not called Scott at CBS News. I was called McFarlane, Scotty Mac, or Hey Tall Guy, because Scott Pelley was Scott. Devastating loss internally and externally.
From the text line, Scott Pelley was a pompous, arrogant, three-letter word, much like me. You're irritated because I'm pointing out why journalism matters. Get over it.
This Milwaukee team is legit.
Talk a little bit about what the team accomplished and maybe how difficult it is knowing that's the last time this group will be together.
It's never easy when you lose that final game, but having made it further than this program has ever been there makes it a little bit sweeter and a little bit easier to take.
Russell Wilson, former Badger, Super Bowl champion, is officially calling it a career.
At the end of the day, here in Wisconsin, he was a dang good quarterback for the Badgers, wasn't he, guys?
Fly ball to center. It's hit well. Cox is back. Cox at the track, at the wall. He makes the catch. A step in front of the wall to end this game. Survives this game.
What a week, eh?
What a week.
John Milan is coming back.
Ladies and gentlemen, the weekend.
That's the Week in Review, brought to you by Outdoor Living Unlimited. Top of the hour news up next.
I look across Wisconsin, see all those farms, all those fields, and there's one thing I know. You have to keep going. Things don't wait. And that's a bummer if your shoulder's barking at you every time you pick up a bag of feed or seed. Those knees aching, screaming at you when you're climbing in and out of the tractor cab. That back, well, you've been ignoring that for a while. Surgery's not an option. I get it. 6 months of recovery is not in your vocabulary. And you don't want to get hooked on pain pills. You just want to get through the day. Let me introduce you to Dr. Caravelli and her team at QC Kinetics. Regenerative treatments that use your body's own healing tools, concentrated, put right where you need it. That means no surgery, no opioids, no long recovery sitting on the sidelines watching your fields go to weeds. Let's get you that relief now. QC Kinetics. Call them today. 414-667-5559. 414-667-5559. They've got weekend appointments available as well because they know you can't just take a Tuesday off. QC Kinetics.
Come on into Tyson's, more for you.
Calling all
all farmers, Tyson's has more for your farm. With hot farm deals going on now through June 9th. Noble Outfitters apparel is now 25% off. Prosper 50-pound sweet horse feed is now only $12.99. Stock up on your favorite brands with savings on Nutrena, Kalmbach, Farnham, Merck, Rancher's Choice, and more. Shop our weekly deals and more at your local Tyson store or online at tysons.com. Now through June 9th.
WTMJ, W277CV, and WKTI HD2 Milwaukee from the Annex Wealth Management Studios. This is News Radio WTMJ, a Good Karma brand station.
How much does it cost to talk to Gruber Law Offices after a serious crash? It's free. Yes, free. As in, it won't cost you anything to speak with us. Not sure if you have a case? Call our team at Gruber Law Offices today. Your first call and your first consultation are always free. And you'll never pay us a fee until we win your case. If you've been seriously injured, call Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all.
Spring into better vision at Shopko Optical. Vince Vitrano here. All starts with a comprehensive eye exam from a skilled optometrist. Takes a look at your eye health and overall well-being. Need glasses, contacts, maybe both? At Shopko Optical, get expert care and the perfect eyewear for your lifestyle, all in one convenient visit. Locations throughout southeast Wisconsin. I go to the one at Hales Corners. Call Shopko Optical or visit shopko.com to schedule your exam. Shopko Optical, partners in your eye care.
In 1987, the Bucks took on the world and changed basketball forever.
At stake, basketball supremacy in the United States.
Bucks versus the World, narrated by Charlie Behrens, is the new season of Behind the Bucks podcast, presented by Gallagher, your trusted insurance broker and HR and benefits consultant. It's the untold story of the 1987 McDonald's Open, when the Bucks became the first NBA team to face the Soviet Union. Listen now on bucks.com/plus, the Bucks app, the ESPN Wisconsin app, and wherever you get podcasts.
No matter what business you're in, as the #1 SBA lender in Wisconsin, Summit Credit Union helps your vision take shape with loan programs, great rates, and strategic solutions.
Awarded the #1 SBA lender by the Small Business Administration of Wisconsin in 2025.
An unsuspecting driver at a gas station in Wisconsin.
Welcome, Pump 15. How you doing?
Great.
Were you wearing your seatbelt today?
I never wear my seatbelt.
We're going to get him. We're going to get him real good.
Oh, my goodness.
Hello, sir. How you doing? Donald Driver. It takes 1 second to strap a seatbelt on. Well, let's do this. Let's do it together. Now, don't that feel better?
Donald Driver can't always be there to remind you.
Click it or ticket.
And let's reduce fatalities on Wisconsin roadways.
And I should have recognized your voice when you're harassing.
I'm watching you.
Sponsored by Wisconsin DOT.
Take your family to the amazing Mine Shaft restaurant in Hartford for the all-you-can-eat Wednesday and Friday haddock fish fry for $8.99. Wow. You'll pay twice that elsewhere. Desserts or buy one, get one free. Google The Mine Shaft. Call and reserve your table, The Mine Shaft.
Transform your home today. Exterior Pros. Trust the pros.
The mountains are calling, and so are the highlights.
Hit in the air. This is deep. Up into the night. Back goes Doyle. Track. Wall. See you later, Bryce Terrain.
The climb continues as the Brewers take on the Rockies at Coors Field.
Demolishes one up into the night sky. All the way back to the wall.
Our Brewers Radio Network game day coverage starts tonight at 7:05. We are the home of the Brewers. 620 WTMJ Milwaukee.
It's 1 o'clock. This is Wisconsin's Midday News for Friday, June 5th. I'm Jessica Ty. Your top story, new enhancements coming to 911.
I'm Neil Doyle in for Greg Matzik, pleading not guilty in the deaths of his children.
Rain today. We have a high of 78. We'll see if we get there. We're still kind of sitting at 70 degrees right here in Milwaukee. Tonight, isolated rain and storms, otherwise partly cloudy. We'll dip down to 63 degrees for the low. Rain tomorrow morning, becoming mostly sunny after that. A high of 83. It's currently 70 in Milwaukee with light rain. From the WTMJ Breaking News Center, major enhancements are coming to the 911 Dispatch Center in Milwaukee. Come October, residents will be able to text 911.
There's a whole revisioning of what we're doing with public safety communications. We're going to introduce a new citywide non-emergency number that offers an opportunity to be to be transferred to dispatch. We're going to introduce new technology that will get us better location information for the callers.
That's the director of the Department of Emergency Communications, Tony Bueno. In addition to texting, he says the center will also roll out real-time transcription software and translation capabilities.
The Universities of Wisconsin Board of Regents approving a 2% tuition increase for next school year.
Regents approved the hike in a vote of 15-1. The UW system says the increase is below the rate of inflation and will go towards utilities, maintenance, employee salaries, and student services.
The reality is we will still need to make hard decisions despite passing a 2% increase.
This puts annual undergraduate tuition rates for UW-Madison at over $12,000 and for UW-Milwaukee at just over $11,000. Jessica Gatso, WTMJ News.
A Kenosha father pleads not guilty in the deaths of his 3 children.
40-year-old Joshua Cannon is charged with 3 counts of child neglect causing death. Prosecutors say Cannon was supposed to be watching the 10-year-old, 9-year-old, and 7-year-old when they tried to make dinner on a stove with debris on it, causing a fire in the apartment on Thanksgiving last year. They also say the smoke alarm was removed from the home. Cannon is due back in court in August ahead of his trial. Elizabeth Linton in WTMJ News.
President Trump with a new construction proposal in Washington to create a pedestrian area on the backside of the Lincoln Memorial. ABC's Karen Travers reports it's not clear how the project will be executed since a roadway runs in that area.
He is saying that they're planning a promenade on the other side of the Lincoln Memorial, the less famous side of the Lincoln Memorial. Everybody knows the steps that face the reflecting pool. The other side of the Lincoln Memorial actually faces Memorial Bridge and the Potomac River. And the president says he wants to build a promenade there, connecting the memorial to the Potomac River so that people have a place to stand and look at the arch that he intends to build on the other side of the river in Virginia.
On the other side of the Lincoln Memorial, water again flowing into the reflecting pool, which was recently repainted a bright blue.
The U.S. military is disputing claims that Iran fired warning shots at U.S. ships in the Strait of Hormuz. News Nation's Robert Sherman is in Qatar.
What is indisputably clear and true is that there are great tensions that exist here in the region, for that matter, around the globe as it relates to Iran and the situation here in the Middle East. Even when you look out to the Indian Ocean, Indo-Pacific Command just announcing a short while ago that they interdicted an Iranian-linked ship out in the Indian Ocean, putting out a statement saying that they will continue global maritime enforcement to disrupt illicit networks and interdict vessels providing material support to Iran wherever they operate.
The U.S. continues to maintain a military blockade in the Strait of Hormuz.
Time for news about your money. The WTMJ Annex Wealth Management Market Update. A tough day across the board. The NASDAQ seeing one of its biggest drops in nearly 8 months, down about 3%, sitting at 26,017 after a record day yesterday for the Dow. The Dow off today about 430 points, 51,131, and the S&P 500 down over 1% as well at 7,448. Financial planning at every level. Annex Comprehensive Wealth, Annex Private Client, Annex Ignite. Details at annexwealth.com.
The challenges the Miz could face in Colorado. Sports, traffic, and weather are next. Outdoor Living Unlimited, WTMJ News Time is 1:05.
You've probably heard all those ads for life insurance. Just a few dollars a day, apply online in minutes, no medical exam. Simple, easy, and cheap, right? Now you're thinking, maybe I should get a quote. Well, smart thinking. Everyone should have life insurance. But here's what they don't tell you. Those few dollars a day rates, they're for young people in perfect health. That's why everyone calls Big Lou the 50 to 60-year-old not-so-perfect candidate. Like you. You take prescription meds and you're overweight. Winner, winner, fried chicken dinner. Well, Big Lou works with life insurance companies that want people like you with no surprises after you apply. In fact, if you're a 50-year-old guy with a few health glitches, Lou could probably find you $1 million of term life coverage for about $200 a month. So yeah, you need life insurance. But unless you're young and healthy, you gotta call Big Lou because he's like you, older, heavier, and on meds too. Get a quote right now at 800-345-2789. 800-345-2789 or biglou.com.
There's not a bad time to better insulate your home, but there is a better time, and it's right now. Vince Vitrano here just talked with Jeff from USA Insulation. Jeff says they always get busy in the fall and early winter as everyone's concerned about keeping their houses warm. But doing a project with USA Insulation does just as well to keep your house cooler in the summer months and saving you money on your electric bills. Tell Jeff Vinny told you want the government rebates and discounts that can save you thousands on your project. Get started at usainsulation.net.
The mountains are calling, and so are the highlights.
Hit in the air. This is deep. Up into the night. Back goes Doyle. Track. Wall. See you later, Bryce Terrain.
The climb continues as the Brewers take on the Rockies at Coors Field.
Wow, Yelich demolishes one up into the night sky. All the way back to the wall.
Our Brewers Radio Network game day coverage starts tonight at 7:05. We are the home of the Brewers. WTMJ.
Time for a WTMJ Sports Update from the Gruber Law Offices. One call, That's All Sports Desk. Brewers splitting their 4-game series with the Giants and now on the road for 6 games. That starts with a 3-game series in Colorado with the Rockies tonight. Jacob Izarowski expected to pitch sometime this weekend. And for all of the Brewers pitchers, it can be a bit of a challenge at higher elevations. Brewers President of Business Operations, Rick Schlesinger, on Wisconsin's Morning News.
From a perspective of oxygen, I mean, you're going to be gassed. So, he's going to have to recognize that, he's going to get a little tired probably sooner than you would think, because when you're at this elevation, you're just not going to have as much oxygen going into your bloodstream when you're trying to pitch 103. So, but he's a smart guy. He's a competitor, and I expect that he'll figure out a way to overcome some of these, oddities about playing in such high level.
Brandon Sproat on the mound for the Brewers tonight. All of our coverage at 7:05 right here on WTMJ. And even though the Brewers are out of town, there will be baseball this weekend over at AmFam. It's Banana Ball, the party animals against the Coconuts. Sold out crowds expected both tomorrow and Sunday.
Who was that? That sounded like fun.
A Banana Ball. Have you seen the Banana Ball at all?
I know the Banana Ball, but the team names, I was like, oh, wait, who?
Yeah, it's a similar vibe. Should be a good time.
Okay, that's fun. Checking out the roads with your WTMJ Time Saver traffic. We're not doing too bad here. The crash that I was monitoring in downtown Milwaukee has since cleared, so that's great. Do have a couple of disabled vehicles out of the system. Most of them don't look like they're causing any issues, but I do see this one I want to let you know about because of where it is. 4145 North, very close to North Avenue. Right shoulder is blocked due to a car that's broken down there, and that's in a construction zone. Construction delays, not too heavy right now on 4145 in the Mayfair and Butler areas, but we are seeing a little bit of it. Also seeing some delays in our construction zone on 94 around American Family Field. That's both eastbound and westbound.
Traffic is sponsored by Capri Communities. Enjoy Life Active Aging Symposium. Visit EnjoyLifeSymposium.com. Live life to the fullest at Capri's Enjoy Life Symposium on Wednesday, June 10th. This free event for older adults includes speakers, exhibitors, activities, and more. Register today at EnjoyLifeSymposium.com.
Certainly been a wet Friday for us. Showers and storms still kind of lingering around in some spots, but starting to get a little bit of dry time here this afternoon. High around 78 is what we're expected to get up to, but then we could see some more isolated showers and storms into the evening, a low down to 63. Heading into the weekend, maybe some early showers Saturday, otherwise mostly sunny, a high of 83 degrees. Sunny, less humid, shaping up to be a nice day Sunday with a high of 73. And then into early next week, we'll see some shower and storm chances return on Monday. More humid again Monday with highs in the low 80s. In Milwaukee, 71 degrees.
Live from the Annex Wealth Management Studios in downtown Milwaukee, it's Wisconsin's Midday News, making stories come to life. Now, here are your hosts, Jessica Ty, and in for Greg Matzik, it's Neil Doyle.
We hope you're having a fabulous Friday so far. Yes, it's raining outside, but we needed the rain, and there's something gentle about this rain, right?
I don't mind a little rain every so often. Like you said, we've had a nice little reprieve from it, but it's been a wet Friday.
If we get storms, though, storms are not gentle. We'll see what happens. It's 110.
And now it's time for 3 Big Things on Wisconsin's Midday News.
Number 1. Today, the World Health Organization launched a joint continental plan to fight the ongoing outbreak of Ebola. The new development comes as the Milwaukee Health Department is currently monitoring 3 travelers for Ebola. The department says these people are very low risk, but it is monitoring as a precaution. There are no suspected cases of Ebola in Milwaukee. Milwaukee Health Department is working through the same response used for any infectious disease. It's communicating with the 3 travelers, of course, and state and federal public health partners. Meanwhile, today the WHO teamed up with Africa's CDC. They're trying to raise more than $500 million right now to support African countries so they can prepare for, quickly detect, and respond to the outbreak. This is a 6-month plan, and it starts right now.
Milwaukee's Pride Fest underway on the lakefront, the annual Pride Parade coming up this Sunday, and this weekend, kind of the unofficial kickoff of the festival season across the area. And in just 2 months, one of the state's biggest summer attractions, the 175th Wisconsin State Fair, will get underway on the fairgrounds in West Allis. Fair officials say it's certainly the home stretch, final preparations getting made for this year's event, but organizers also looking back at what happened at the end of last year's fair. That historic flooding last August, forcing fair officials to cancel the final day, and we're learning it was a big economic hit.
We, as the fair, lost $2.3 million in revenue. I feel bad. Our vendors, it's projected they lost just over $5 million collectively. So it certainly is something that we felt.
That's Wisconsin State Fair Executive Director and CEO Sherry Black. So even with that impact from a year ago, Black says they're certainly focusing on hopefully a successful 2026, very optimistic, hopefully for some nice weather and big crowds during the 11-day run. Wisconsin State Fair, it runs August 6th through the 16th.
Well, we'll never forget that flooding, and I can still close my eyes and visualize the pictures and the video from the damage done at State Fair. But to actually hear those numbers this week and to know how widespread the damage was, it makes you feel like, well, number one, a lot of families still dealing with damage at their homes, too, but it makes you feel like you want to spend a little bit more money, if you can, with everybody who's out at State Fair this year.
Get out there and support.
I'll definitely spend money on that hot Wisconsin cheese, my favorite. Number 3, President Trump is on his way to Wisconsin right now. He narrowly carried our state in 2024. Today, he plans to talk to farmers hit hard by rising prices spurred on by the war in Iran. News Nation's Kelly Meyer reports.
Farmers may have questions around what's happening with the war in Iran as it drives up prices for them, from fertilizer to the cost of gas, the cost of diesel, driving up prices for farmers. The cost up more than 50% since the war in Iran started back in February. We spoke with the chair of the Wisconsin Republican Party, and he believes farmers in the Badger State support the president and his work in reducing energy costs.
Democrats are hoping economic concerns, including inflation, will help them gain congressional seats in our state. It's 1:14. Up next, the new jobs report just crushed expectations. So why are some economists still nervous? What you need to know.
AccuNet Mortgage is an equal housing lender. NMLS ID 255368.
This is Brian Wickert, owner of Wisconsin's own AccuNet Mortgage. I get that most home shoppers just go with their bank when it comes to getting pre-approved, but that's probably a mistake because banks have a lot of overhead, like branches, fancy headquarters, and layers of management. That means their closing costs are typically $1,000 to $3,000 higher than AccuNet's for exactly the same rate. And that's not all. Bank pre-approval letters are usually weak and unconvincing, especially compared to AccuNet's rock-solid, fully verified pre-approval that provides a $2,000 guarantee to you and the seller. Our senior loan consultants will also look at every possible way to strengthen your offer and pre-approval in the eyes of that seller, especially if you're offering over the asking price. We even call the listing agent to reinforce what a great buyer you are. Banks don't do all that. Click on the blue button today at AccuNet.com and let our passionate mortgage pros help you win while you save a bunch of money, too. That's ACCUNET.com.
This message reaches 1 million people or more every week. Spreading the gospel is more than one voice speaking to 1 million. It is and must continue to be 1 million voices, each speaking to one, pointing them to our friend Jesus.
The Lutheran Hour with Dr. Michael Ziegler.
The Lutheran Hour, Sunday mornings at 6:30 on WTMJ.
Hey, WTMJ's John Mercure here. We are in the heart of it. It is spring and summer in Wisconsin. I love it. I've got a lot of cool stuff planned. We want to help you plan your getaway, whether it's a romantic getaway or something with the family. Join us for Experience Wisconsin, 1 o'clock Saturdays here on WTMJ. This week, it's going to be a fun show. Hayward Lakes is spotlighted, and so is Sheboygan. Yeah, it's Experience Wisconsin, Saturdays at 1, right here on 620 WTMJ.
We got one of the biggest economic report cards of the month, the May Jobs Report. It comes at a time when unemployment claims have ticked higher, businesses are navigating uncertainty tied to the conflict with Iran, and investors are trying to figure out whether the economy is slowing or just cooling off a little. At the same time, the Dow just hit another record. So what story are these numbers telling exactly? Caleb Silver from Investopedia joins us. Thanks for joining us again.
Always good to be with you.
So, Caleb, let's jump into the latest, the new jobs report. What's the banner? What does it tell us today?
172,000 job gains in the month of May, much higher than expected, twice as much as most economists were expecting, and the unemployment rate staying at 4.3%. This tells us that despite the fact that consumers and businesses are worried about higher inflation, and we may have pulled back on spending, the hiring has continued. Not only that, we had March and April numbers revised higher by 93,000 jobs total there. So the 2-month average is about 150,000 job gains per month. Very strong labor market. And the job gains coming in May were very strong in leisure and hospitality, which also tells us that despite the fact that we're worried about spending and we're worried about making it to the end of the month with our paychecks given rising inflation, we're still planning on travel and discretionary spending this summer.
Caleb, I think that still confuses people, though, because, again, we hear maybe some of these concerns about the economy, yet we hear pretty good numbers here in this report. The Dow just hit this other record level. So why aren't those two stories kind of matching up?
Well, the stock market and the economy are not the same, and they measure two different things. The stock market has been rising really steadily over the past. We're on a 10-week win streak here, unless we have a big sell-off today. That's the biggest the longest, I should say, since 1985. That is investors' perception and bets on future profits, especially from the biggest tech companies out there in the stock market. They're the ones that have been driving the gains. You got about 4 or 5% of stocks in the stock market, which is 500 stocks hitting sort of record highs and all-time highs. The rest are kind of chugging along here. So they're measuring two different things right now. The economy is really a measure of our productivity as a labor force, but also, what companies are putting out in terms of profits. And again, profits have been very strong for a lot of companies for several years right now, and they're getting stronger, especially in the tech sector.
Well, we talk about Wall Street. Wall Street loves good economic news, unless it means higher interest rates stick around. What are your thoughts on interest rates and where they go from here?
They're not going anywhere. Even the fact that we have a new Fed chair in Kevin Warsh who would like lower interest rates, you can't look at this and he's not the one making the decision. There's 12 members of the Open Market Committee that make the call on interest rates. You look at this and you say, I got a stable labor market. You're almost at full employment with a 4.3% unemployment rate. There's still job gains and wages keep rising, even though inflation is now outpacing them. I got to keep my eye on the oil market and rising prices. If I may have to, in fact, raise rates, if you look at it in the October-November meeting forecast, they may actually have to raise interest rates if inflation remains a problem due to the higher oil prices.
I feel like we've heard recession thrown out there at times this year. Any concerns with that still, or some of that kind of maybe easing now?
No, I wouldn't be concerned about a recession. I think the likelihood is super low when you have a labor market like this where there are still job gains. And you've seen them in healthcare and social assistance for the past 2 years. Again, these are not super high-paying jobs, but they are potential careers. You have hiring there. Now you have leisure and hospitality picking up. What we haven't seen is a big pickup in hiring in transportation and warehousing and logistics. And that is, the goal of all these tariffs and all this policy by this White House is to try to bring more manufacturing back to the U.S. That's going to take some time. We haven't seen the gains there yet right now. So we're going to keep an eye on these sectors that are vulnerable, like travel and leisure and hospitality, because those are seasonal. But if those remain strong through the summer, I wouldn't worry about a recession or even stagflation at this point.
I was also a little surprised to see these numbers with today's new job report, because it at least feels like in the headlines, it's definitely been grabbing headlines, some of these big companies slashing jobs, and in part, in some cases, due to artificial intelligence.
Yeah, you hear that a lot, and you're hearing it from the big tech companies. But don't forget the fact that they hired really aggressively coming out of the pandemic, hiring tens of thousands of workers to their workforces. So when you hear a company like Meta laying off 5 or 10% of its workforce, it is a very big number, but it's coming off a very big number. No fun if you're being laid off. Also, we have much fewer government workers, about 300,000 plus less due to DOGE and those cuts, and the immigration policy, which took a lot of workers out of the workforce. That keeps that unemployment rate steady at around 4.3%, where it's kind of been trending for the past, 6 or 7 months. So it's an interesting labor market. It's changed a lot given the size of the workforce, but I wouldn't be too concerned about a huge uptick in unemployment anytime soon, given the trend.
We just had college graduations across the country. I feel like we continue to hear from new graduates that they are struggling to find jobs. Is that concerning at all?
Yeah, and if you look at the unemployment rates for young people, they are rising because it's harder to get in the workforce, and we're an aging population, and people know they have to work longer to be able to afford their retirement, and they can't retire. So you got older people in the workforce kind of taking the place of the younger people that might take their place in the workforce, not leaving. So there's a little bit of an imbalance there, and that's going to be a factor. Young people have to get creative about the labor market right now. And if you have a job, hug that job, hold that job, because I don't think there's going to be a lot of job turnover given where we are in the labor market. The fact that it's steady is good, but it's not like companies are aggressively adding workers right now.
Hug it and hold it. That's the advice from Caleb Silver, editor-in-chief of Investopedia. Thanks so much for joining us, Caleb.
My pleasure.
Hey, it's Kristen Bry from Point Taken on 620 WTMJ. You know, in radio, people hear your voice first. But when I'm out in the community, meeting listeners or hosting events, I'm told that my smile is my signature. That's why I trust Dr. James Michaels and the team at Economawalk Dental Care with my smile. And yes, I drive all the way from Milwaukee to Economawalk to see Dr. Michaels and his incredible staff. Because when you find a dental team that makes you feel comfortable, listened to, and cared for, that drive is worth it. Dr. Michaels has been practicing in Economawalk for more than 25 years. And his approach is simple. Treat people the way they want to be treated. Whether you're due for a cleaning, thinking about cosmetic options, or just need a dental home where you feel at ease, call Economawalk Dental Care at 262-567-7224. That's 262-567-7224, or visit drmichaelsdentalcare.com. Economawalk Dental Care with Dr. James Michaels, the team I trust with my smile.
ACS Group has business technology from James Imaging Systems, your local business technology partner. ACS Group's IT manager, Mark Reinhardt.
I feel James Imaging Systems, being local, I get to meet the people, see the people. They come in and find out what our needs are, and they're just great folks.
Great folks who partner with you and your business.
Absolutely. I categorize James Imaging Systems as a partner because they come in, again, sit down, understand our needs, listen to what things are bothering us, obstacles that we have, and they help bring us really cost-effective solutions.
James Imaging Systems, AI-driven workflow automation, security enhancements, digital transformation, and business technology expertise to help your business do business better.
That's huge for me and keeps us running smoothly, and we're able to focus on other things for this business.
James Imaging Systems, your local business technology partner. Call 262-781-7700 or visit jamesimaging.com.
An everyday hero is when Wisconsin's Morning News celebrates an average John or Jane Doe who had no idea when they got up one morning they'd be saving a life. Today we head to western Michigan, the Kalamazoo area, 3 Rivers to be exact. Storms were brewing that day, and it was busy at Applebee's. There was 50-plus customers in the restaurant, some at the bar, some at the tables, enjoying a dinner when the weather really started to turn. It was really whipping up outside, getting really windy.
I heard everybody's phone going off, like blaring. Like every guest, bartender, everybody.
Aubrey McKenzie, the manager of Applebee's, speaking to Fox 17 News. Yeah, tornado warnings were going off. So what do you do in this situation if you're Aubrey? Well, without missing a beat, she starts yelling for everyone to get into the kitchen for shelter.
I knew that what my position was in this building and what I needed to do, so I tried to remain calm and get everybody to where they needed to be.
Now, put yourself in her position for a second. This young woman starts to raise her voice. She's ordering everyone, young and old, to get up from their table, to walk away from their warm food and get into the kitchen. You know how this goes. Not everyone is always interested in listening. It can be a little bit awkward, but she's able to do it. She got them all to take her seriously. They get into the kitchen, and that's when the storm hits.
Your ears were popping. It was loud. Like, you would, by the sound of it, you would think these walls weren't going to hold.
The storm turned out to be an EF2 tornado. It caused major damage, especially to the Menards next door.
Everything that flew off of Menards hit us.
Cars in the parking lot were damaged. Windows were shattered. There was even, from the debris that was thrown, paneling all dinged up inside of the Applebee's. Had people been sitting there, God knows what would have happened. So does Aubrey think she's a hero bringing all these people to safety?
I've been called hero a lot lately, and I laugh it off, but I don't know. I just felt like I did what I was supposed to do.
Well, thank you, Aubrey McKenzie, for leading, for saving, for being an everyday hero. Everyday Hero, sponsored by Azura Memory Care and Assisted Living, transforming the culture of care. Eric Bilstead, WTMJ News.
Up next, it's local news and your top national headlines.
WTMJ's Julia Fellow for Appliance Gallery, right on Wisconsin Avenue in Milwaukee. Their gorgeous showroom is the most up-to-date in our state, featuring luxury brands like Sub-Zero, Wolf, Miele, Fisher & Paykel, and more. They'll work right with your contractor or designer and make the process seamless. They even offer brands where you can choose from custom colors. As a small family-owned company with one location, they deliver impeccable service with a personal touch. Visit ApplianceGalleryWY.com or stop in today.
Recently, a seller that unfortunately ended up choosing another agent called me. She said she made a mistake, and what she was expressing to me sounded like she kind of was bullied into signing with him. Is it typical? Not always, but it will never happen when you hire a Century 21 Benefit Realty agent. I want our agents to be able to look in the mirror and say, I'd want to work with me. Not because they're good at saying what you want to hear or offer the lowest commission, but because of trust. Because if you're not feeling that from your agent, that's a problem. And I don't want that. At 1.9% on the listing side of your sale with our commission capped at $19,000, Century 21 Benefit Realty leads with a very fair and transparent commission structure with maximum marketing that can get your home sold fast and for the best price. And saving money matters, but working with someone who'll tell you exactly what you need to know up front, that creates trust. And that matters too. This is Angela Calais with Century 21 Benefit Realty, benefit-realty.com, where you pay less for full service. Each office is independently owned and operated.
Shopping for new windows and doors shouldn't feel like a negotiation. Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin doesn't believe in games. They never inflate pricing, and there's no high-pressure sales pitch. Just premium windows and doors built for long-term comfort, beauty, and peace of mind. Buy direct through Pella, and one trusted team handles everything with Pella-certified installers every step of the way. Real pricing, premium quality, no games. Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Schedule your free in-home consultation today at PellaWI.com.
The news you need to know every weekday on Wisconsin's Morning News.
A vote to raise in-state tuition by 2%. This would be the fourth year in a row tuition would go up after a 10-year tuition freeze.
Every time we've talked about in this country making college more affordable, and I mean lawmakers, all that's meant heretofore has been, let's make loans more accessible. That didn't make it any more affordable. It just made it possible for you to go deep into debt.
Yeah.
I could get a loan for a Ferrari. It's not affordable for me.
Only here on WTMJ.
It's 1:30 on the dot. This is Wisconsin's Midday News for Friday, June 5th. I'm Jessica Ty. Your top story, new details on the search for the next UW president.
I'm Neil Doyle, supporting a popular restaurant during a rebuild.
Showers happening still. Looks like it's coming to an end in many spots, though. Overcast in Milwaukee right now. We're up to 72 tonight. Isolated rain and storms, partly cloudy otherwise. We'll dip to 63 for our low.
ABC News, I'm Mike Dubosky. The latest report from the Labor Department finds jobs numbers came in far better than expected, adding about 172,000 positions in the month of May. A 3-judge panel in Virginia heard arguments today in the case of President Trump's planned ballroom at the White House. ABC's Karen Travers.
The Justice Department has been pointing to the recent shootings, the one that was at the White House Correspondents' Dinner, the shooting that was here near the White House just a couple of weeks ago, to say that there is a security issue and that it's not just about trying to build an event space at the White House, but that this facility will also have a national security impact, talking about things like medical facilities, the bomb shelters, a hospital, as the president has talked about, as well as things built on top to secure this entire complex here at the White House.
A federal judge has thrown out several Trump administration policies which had halted asylum claims from around the world. This is ABC News.
From the WTMJ Breaking News Center, the Universities of Wisconsin Board of Regents will host public listening sessions in the search for their next president. The goal is to select a new president before selecting the next chancellor for UW-Madison.
I think going into the search process, it's important for the Board of Regents and the entire Universities of Wisconsin to have a really open and broad mind. So not going in looking for a specific checklist right now. To be honest with you, we're looking for the next best president to lead our higher education system in our great state.
The Milwaukee listening session is coming up on Tuesday. It's at 3:30 p.m. on UW-Milwaukee's campus.
A large shredder for scrapping cars catches fire in the Menominee Valley. Milwaukee Fire Department crews battling the 3-alarm blaze for over an hour at Alter Medical Recycling. That's near 16th and Bruce, happened yesterday afternoon. Fire Chief Aaron Lipsky says it happens in an area frequently every time firefighters encounter the same challenge.
Enormous plot of land has what are referred to as private fire hydrants that have never been upgraded or maintained to support real-world firefighting, despite numerous first alarm, second alarm, third alarm, fourth alarm, 5-alarm fires on this property.
With some of those challenges on the property, Lipsky says crews are forced to use over 2,000 feet of hose in order to properly get the amount of water they need.
The Wisconsin Department of Justice reaches a settlement in the largest PFAS contamination in state history. Tyco Fire Products will pay $10 million after so-called forever chemicals contaminated local water sources in Marinette and Peshtigo. Attorney General Josh Call says Tyco is responsible for continued remediation work in addition to that $10 million.
Tyco will continue to provide clean drinking water to residents in a designated area southeast of the Fire Technology Center. Every parcel in that area that has not already installed a deep drinking water well will have the opportunity to do that for the next 20 years.
Wisconsin is also part of multi-district lawsuits over PFAS that are still pending.
A popular Muskego restaurant that burned down open again with a summer beer garden.
Co-owner of Bass Bay Brewhouse, Ryan Oshman, says Wednesday's opening day had over 650 attendees throughout the total operating hours.
Getting back to, doing what we do, or just taking care of customers, seeing all of our friends, family, regulars, getting everybody back together.
The restaurant and banquet hall burned down last December, leaving the building a total loss, with the cause of the fire still under investigation. Oshman says the business is rebuilding, with renderings showing a one-story building.
We are hoping to be opening sometime next summer. Fingers crossed for early.
The beer garden runs through October and is open every day of the week except Monday and Tuesday. Elizabeth Linton in WTMJ News.
Starting next week, drivers on Highway 100 near 894 will see lane restrictions in both directions.
Wisconsin DOT's Eric Hansen says southbound Highway 100 is already down to one lane between Cold Spring Road and Edgerton Avenue.
This is to allow for asphalt and bridge repair work, and that's scheduled to remain in place through Saturday, June 13th.
Once that work wraps up, Hansen says northbound Highway 100 is next.
So Highway 100 northbound is scheduled to be reduced from 3 lanes down to 1 lane.
That northbound restriction runs between Edgerton and Layton, starting at 10 p.m. Monday, June 8th, lasting through Saturday, June 13th. Debbie Laziga, WTMJ News.
Sports, traffic, weather are next. Outdoor Living Unlimited, WTMJ News Time, 1:35.
Everywhere you turn, it's plus, plus, plus. Retail chains, streamers, even our phones come with plus. And to think it all started with Hassellus Mattress, because nobody has more plus than us. Right now at Hassellus, get a Queen Beauty Sleep by Beauty Rest Elm Cove A mattress. Others sell it for $1,459, but Hassellus has it for just $794. Plus, through Monday, you'll also get a free adjustable base. Plus, a huge selection of Beauty Rest, Sealy Posturepedic, and other big name brands. Plus, free financing. Plus, free next day delivery and setup. Plus, free haul away and disposal of your old mattress. Plus, employee free showrooms. Get all this plus a whole lot more when you shop at Hassellus Mattress. Woo! All these pluses have me feeling nonplussed. Save big on Sealy Posturepedic, Beauty Rest, and more every day from 9 to 9. Find an employee-free showroom near you or shop online at Hassellus.com.
Here's to sweet summer days together with friends and family in Wisconsin. To discovering magic in every moment.
Hey, Mom, over here!
And to reconnecting through a world filled with wonder.
Wow.
Here's to Supper Club celebrations. and dancing until the sun goes down. Here's to those who Wisconsin. Plan your summer getaway at travelwisconsin.com.
Summer always starts with good intentions.
Kids home from school, weekend trips, more time outside.
But somehow the house is in complete chaos by June.
That's why summer is the perfect time to get organized with Inspired Closets.
We create custom solutions for garages, pantries, laundry rooms, and more, so your home works better for real life.
And when everything has a place, summer feels a whole lot less stressful.
Visit us today at InspiredClosetsMilwaukee.com.
Inspired Closets.
A wife and husband team.
Time for a WTMJ sports update from the Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all sports desk. The first place Milwaukee Brewers starting a 6-game trip on the road. They'll be in Colorado tonight, starting a 3-game series with the Rockies. Crew coming off a split in their last series at home against the Giants. Brandon Sproat on the mound tonight for Milwaukee. All of our coverage at 7:05 right here on WTMJ. In baseball as well, even though it's not going to be the Brewers at AmFam, it's Banana Ball, the Party Animals and the Coconuts, playing several games this weekend in front of sold-out crowds, both tomorrow and Sunday. And then tonight as well, game 2 of the NBA Finals. New York Knicks against the San Antonio Spurs. Knicks with a 1-game lead. You can hear that game on our sister station, 94.5 ESPN.
Let's get you an update on the roads right now with your WTMJ Time Saver traffic. We unfortunately do have a brand new crash. This popped up just minutes ago. It's in downtown Milwaukee, 4394 South at the ramp from 94 East. Right shoulder is blocked due to a crash. Unfortunately, this is kind of one of those spots where there just aren't any cameras to take a peek at it. But as I look, I do see that we do have a little bit of a slowdown right now because of it, because I can look at the other cameras nearby. So heads up there. We are starting to see some delays because of this new crash. 4394 South at the ramp from I-94 East in downtown Milwaukee. Also, we've got wet roads. I know the rain has, in most parts of Milwaukee, come to an end. We have overcast skies right now, but roads are still wet. So just give yourself a little extra time. Take it slow if you're on those slick roads right now.
Let it rain, let it pour. She don't love me anymore.
Well, I hope she still loves you. But we did get some rain. Let it rain, let it pour. Not everybody was saying that, but some people were. The farmers needed some rain. Some people needed some rain on their lawns.
I don't think we were in a drought, but I guess Jacob could tell us. But yeah, rain was needed, that's for sure.
Yeah, we definitely need a little bit of rain. Speaking of Jacob, let's check in right now with TMJ4 meteorologist Jacob Montesano. Hey, Jacob, did we need some rain? We needed some rain.
Yes, definitely. Every Thursday, the drought monitor gets released, and this Thursday was the first time that we were technically under a drought at a moderate drought. The drought monitor has 5 levels. Level 1 is abnormally dry, which we were already in that, and after Thursday, or yesterday for that matter, the drought monitor that released showed us in a moderate drought, but the rain today might help it a little bit. Not going to completely erase what the deficit we've seen, but definitely some much needed rain. Unfortunately, some people probably had outdoor plans today, but beyond that, I'm sure many people were pretty excited to see the rainfall.
Well, it was certainly wet early this morning. It seems like we've had a little bit of a lull here this afternoon, but looking like we could see some more showers and storms maybe develop tonight.
Yeah, over the next few hours, there will be a few isolated showers and storms. Not going to be as widespread as what we saw this morning, but really at any point in the day, still could see that isolated shower or storm for any part of the area. And once we get towards the overnight hours, we'll have a little bit of a better chance of rain again. Once we get later in the night, we'll see a more consistent line of showers and storms move into our area from the northwest. The storms will be in a little bit of a weakening state as they get into our area, but still expected to produce some heavy rain for parts of the region, especially northern counties. But the weakening state will sort of lower our severe weather risk for tonight. There is a level 2 out of 5 risk for the central portion of Wisconsin where the storms are coming from, but for our area, we're in a level 1 out of 5 risk, and we're only talking about the risk of some strong winds and hail, not looking at any tornado risk with those storms. Now, again, even before that, through this afternoon and evening and early tonight, still could see an isolated shower or storm, but it's not going to be widespread. Now, after that overnight storm system clears up very early Saturday, maybe as early as around 6 a.m., we could be talking about completely dry weather throughout the weekend. I say we could be because can't completely rule out a very isolated shower or storm, but it doesn't look like we're going to see much of any rainfall after that overnight system into tomorrow morning clears up. Now, it will be warm again tomorrow with a lot of sunshine in the afternoon, highs in the 80s. Sunday, a little bit cooler, highs in the 70s, still very comfortable. And then once we get to next week, temperatures warm back up. Several chances of rain next week. Right now, still a little bit uncertain as to which day has the best chance, but Monday through Wednesday could see some rain just about every day through that time period. Once we get towards the end of the week, though, the bigger story at that point will be the temperatures, because we're going to really warm up with highs possibly in the 90s, even lakeside. So it's going to be feeling a lot like summer this time next week if it hasn't already.
Well, it's about that time. The other thing I want to note, though, is, the rain was a factor today, an inconvenience for some, a welcome sight for others, but also the humidity, Jacob. You could feel it. It just felt muggy. Felt muggy on the skin.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's funny because our studio where we record our shows, it's a pretty big room, and it's the first time I really noticed since I started working here, the humidity levels in the studio specifically definitely felt up. It was almost like the grounds were like a little squeaky because there was some dampness on them. So yeah, definitely noticed that humidity increase.
Squeaky floors and bad hair days for some of us. The hair you just know. You step outside the car, you feel it, and you're like, oh, it gives me flap today.
Get the curls going a little bit for some.
Well, yeah, you're right.
My curls are flaring up.
There
with the
you
humidity.
go. Okay, I did think your hair was a little curlier today.
I get that from my mom's side, Jessica.
All right.
Really quick too, Jacob, obviously hoping for maybe a little bit drier this weekend. Just kind of looking back as we wrapped up May, from what we saw in April with all the severe weather, it seemed like May was a lot tamer. Am I kind of correct in that regard?
Yeah, it was completely opposite, so much so that for the city of Milwaukee, April was the wettest April on record this year, and then May was the driest May on record. So a complete turnaround, which is very rare, and looks like June, starting out wise, kind of looking at hopefully something more closer to the norm rather than the extreme on each side.
That would be nice. And hey, real quickly before you go, do you guys have any rain totals in yet for this morning?
Yeah. We had some reports up to 2.5 inches. I'm not sure how accurate that was, but there were definitely widespread reports of around 0.5 to 1.5. Seems like the heaviest was kind of just south of Milwaukee, but kind of in that 0.5 to 1.5 inch range for a good chunk of the area. Definitely a little bit less as you go farther north, though.
All right, that's Jacob Montesano, meteorologist over at TMJ4. Thanks so much and have a fabulous weekend.
Thank you. You too.
It's 1:44. Up next, a Friday edition of your weekly wellness check.
Hey, it's WTMJ's Greg Matzik. If you're trying to work, juggle life, and keep your dog happy at the same time, look, I get it. We're the same way. Thankfully, we found the Hounds and Tap for doggy daycare for our Greyhound Knight. It's been a game changer for us. He gets exercise, time to socialize with other dogs. We know Knight's in great hands at the Hounds and Tap. They even take care of his grooming during his visits or separate appointments. That's perfect for us. If you're like us and searching for top-tier services and a team you can trust, get connected at thehoundsandtap.com.
Sleep better with a new Beauty Rest mattress from Steinhofels. Right now, when you upgrade to a King adjustable base set, you'll get a free foundation or $500 instant savings. Plus, with Steinhofels' 60-month financing, Queen Beauty Rest mattresses start at just $32 a month. And here's a bonus. Stop in and test rest a Beauty Rest Black mattress and receive a $20 gas card. Shop in store or online at steinhofels.com. Tell them Jessica Ty sent you. Steinhofels, it's Wisconsin's mattress leader.
From large manufacturer to local pizza shop and every business in between, Summit Credit Union helps your vision take shape with loan programs, great rates, and strategic solutions. Whatever you're building, you've got this, and Summit Credit Union's got you.
If you've ever worried about your heart, if you've ever loved someone with heart disease, if you've ever wondered if you're the one at risk, let's remind ourselves that we are not powerless. Because at the Froedtert and the Medical College of Wisconsin Health Network, we're pushing to outsmart heart and vascular disease by working with you personally to understand your history, assess your risks, and guide you to heart strength. By digging deep with tireless research and offering access to leading-edge clinical trials. And for the most serious conditions, including heart failure, heart valve disease, arrhythmias, and vascular diseases, we provide renowned expertise and the most advanced life-saving procedures you expect from academic medicine. So let's get out in front of heart disease. Let's outsmart it. Let's keep pushing so that every one of us can outrun it and embrace every beautiful day life in Wisconsin has to offer. To learn more about our nationally renowned heart and vascular care, visit freighter.com/heart.
Hey, it's WTMJ's Steve Scavini. Celebrate active aging at the Enjoy Life Symposium. Join Capri communities and adults 55 plus for a free high-energy day at the Enjoy Life Acting Aging Symposium. Live entertainment, a senior fashion show, and speakers like, get this, Melinda Myers and Chef Michael Fecker, the Ukuleles, and Milwaukee's Dancing Grannies. Capri Communities brings it all together for one unforgettable day, Wednesday, June 10th at Elmbrook Church in Brookfield. Register now at EnjoyLifeSymposium.com, and you'll be entered to win a Green Bay game day experience. That's EnjoyLifeSymposium.com.
The mountains are calling, and so are the highlights.
Hit in the air. This is deep. Up into the night. Back goes Doyle. Track. Wall. See you later, Bryce Terrain.
The climb continues as the Brewers take on the Rockies at Coors Field.
Wow, Yelich demolishes one up into the night sky. All the way back to the wall.
Our Brewers Radio Network game day coverage starts tonight at 7:05. We are the home of the Brewers. WTMJ.
Doctor, give me the news. I got a bad case of loving you.
It's time for a weekly wellness check with Dr. Ben Weston, Chief Health Policy Advisor for Milwaukee County and Associate Professor at the Medical College of Wisconsin. It's a Friday edition. Great to have you, Dr. Weston.
Good to be with you.
A Grammy-winning singer and the voice of Disney classics died this week after suffering a stroke. Peeble Bryson was known around the world for singing Beauty and the Beast and A Whole New World, such popular songs. Strokes impact hundreds of thousands of families every year, and recognizing the signs quickly can save lives. Dr. Weston, what happens when someone has a stroke?
Yes, at the basic level, a stroke is when part of the brain is suddenly deprived of blood and oxygen. Now, this can happen either because a blood vessel is blocked, like with a clot, or because there's bleeding in the brain. But when brain cells don't get enough oxygen and nutrients they need, they begin to die within minutes, which is why strokes are such a medical emergency. Now, unfortunately, strokes are pretty common. In the U.S., someone has a stroke approximately every 40 seconds. That means roughly 800,000 Americans each year are having a stroke.
Dr. Weston, there are several different warning signs for sure when there is a stroke. So what should people be watching out for?
Yeah, so one acronym to remember with the symptoms of a stroke is BEFAST, B-E-F-A-S-T. So B is for balance. This could be a sudden loss of balance or trouble with coordination, walking, even dizziness. E is for eye, so vision changes, blurry or double vision, loss of sight in one or both eyes. F is for face, so if one side of your face is drooping or feels numb, or if when somebody smiles, that smile is uneven, that's a telltale sign. A is for arm weakness, so one arm or one leg may feel weak, so people might have difficulty lifting their arm or moving their leg. S is for speech. This is a really common one. A lot of times people get slurred speech, difficulty getting words out, difficult to understand. And then T is time. Or oftentimes terrible headache as well. So if you have this sudden onset terrible headache, and then sometimes T is time. It means it is time to call 911 if somebody is having these symptoms.
So if someone is having a stroke, what should you do in those first few moments, those first few minutes? How can people reduce the risk?
Yeah, the most important thing is to call 911 right away. Minutes lost mean brain loss. And so these brain cells are dying at an incredibly rapid pace. So this is a totally appropriate time to call 911, get an ambulance, because the ambulance is going to be able to notify the hospital as they're en route, actually before they're even en route, from your living room, they can notify the hospital. That gets all the resources ready so that when you arrive at that hospital, they don't have to call anybody or wait for everything. Everything is ready for you right when they get there, and they can act as quickly as possible. They can also make sure you're going to the right hospital. Certain hospitals are equipped for certain types of strokes, while others just are not. So calling 911 is absolutely that critical first step.
Previous research has connected PFAS, also called forever chemicals, to a wide range of health effects. Now, a recent study from the University of California, Irvine, shows PFAS may be linked to childhood cancer. Dr. Weston, what exactly are PFAS?
Yeah, so PFAS, or per or polyfluoral alcohol substances, there's a reason we use the term PFAS. They're a group of human-made chemicals. Now, we often call these forever chemicals. They've been used for decades, things like nonstick cookware, waterproof clothing, food packaging. Now, what makes them concerning is that forever chemical. They just don't break down easily. They can persist in the environment and in our body for years. And because of that, scientists as well as regulators are increasingly concerned about long-term exposure to PFAS.
So this recent study, what did it find when it came to a possible link between PFAS exposure and childhood cancer risk?
Yeah, so it looked at blood collected from newborns to better understand early life exposure to PFAS. They analyzed samples from 125 children who later developed leukemia and compared them to a bunch of children without the cancer. And what they found is that two well-known PFAS chemicals had higher level in children who developed leukemia as opposed to those who didn't. They also identified 24 other PFAS compounds that were associated with increased risks. Now, it's important to emphasize this does not prove that PFAS causes cancer, but it does show an association, meaning a link that certainly needs further research to better understand what the real implications are.
So how can people reduce exposure to these forever chemicals?
Yeah, I mean, choosing certain things. So fresh or less packaged foods can certainly help because PFAS is found in that food packaging and then therefore in the food that we eat. Certain foods in particular, so like microwave popcorn bags and fast food wrappers, you don't want to microwave stuff in plastic in particular because the warmth can let those PFASs kind of leach out even more. So using glass or stainless steel containers for storing food, using PFAS-free cookware. So instead of the older, cheaper nonstick pans, look for ones that don't have PFAS in it. And then drinking water as well. So you can get filters designed to reduce PFAS, avoid drinking out of plastic bottles, things like that.
We're talking with Dr. Ben Weston for a weekly wellness check. Dr. Weston, a few weeks ago, we talked about a clinical trial that's studying the effectiveness of a personalized vaccine for pancreatic cancer patients. Now there's news out of a major cancer conference about a new pancreatic cancer drug that's also showing impressive results. Why is pancreatic cancer so difficult to treat?
Yeah, so your cancer is located deep inside your body. It helps us digest food and control our blood sugar. But pancreatic cancer, it's currently the leading cause of cancer death in the United States. The 5-year survival rate is just 13%. That's abysmal. And this year, roughly 67,000 Americans will be diagnosed with pancreatic cancer, and 53,000 will die from the disease. Now, the difference, unlike breast and colorectal cancer, there's no screening to help identify it and find it in its early stages. That means when we do find it, typically not found until it's really late stage, it's spread to other organs, and therefore treatment options are really limited.
And this new drug certainly has been in the news this past week, a lot of conversation. Kind of break down, what is it and why is there so much excitement about it?
Yeah, it's called Daraxonrasib. Not easy to say medicine. They'll certainly come out with a fancier generic name for it. It's easy to say, but it's an oral medication. It's taken once a day, and it's a gene called KRAS. It's found in over 90% of pancreatic cancer. That's what it targets. And so it's currently in what are called phase 3 trials. So that's one of the last major stages of testing before it gets FDA approval. And this is exciting over the weekend. These new study results, they were published on Sunday and announced at a major conference, cancer conference, show that the drug doubled the overall survival rates of pancreatic cancer. So people who got the drug, they lived about 13 months compared to 7 months for those who received chemotherapy. It may not sound like much, but that's doubling the survival. It's a major step in a highly deadly form of cancer.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I think some people hear that and go, well, man, that's not much. But think about it. If you are trying to get to your child's wedding or there's something else major that you just do not want to miss, I mean, that can be a game changer for a lot of people. I also think, Dr. Weston, they might shorten it to like DXR or something.
There you go. I like that. They should get you for marketing. Yeah, I mean, I think it's a few months, but it's also a first step.
Yeah.
And so this is a new type of therapy. And so if they can modify this, you might get even more time in the future.
So while the drug will still need FDA approval, of course, what does this mean for those with pancreatic cancer today?
Yeah, so what's encouraging is that because of the success, the access to this medication has been expanded since the end of April. The FDA actually authorized an early access program. So this means some pancreatic cancer patients who are really advanced in their disease can receive the medication before full FDA approval because there's not really any other good choices out there. Now, looking forward, it may move through the FDA's new expedited drug review process, meaning approval may come within a month or two after the application gets submitted, which is a lot faster than the usual year or so that it takes. So certainly more steps, a little more research, but a lot of excitement around this new drug and the implications it may have in the future.
Without a doubt, that's Dr. Ben Weston with our weekly wellness check. Have a great weekend, Dr. Weston.
Thank you. You as well.
Hey, y'all. It's the Rocket Roger Clemens here. Spent a lot of time pitching heat. Years later, the pain in my joints remind me of those days, but I'm not looking to sit still, and I definitely am not interested in going under the knife. That's why I chose QC Kinetics.
Not just for elite retired athletes. QC Kinetics gives everyday folks joint pain relief using regenerative treatments that work with your body to help repair joint damage.
No surgery, no long recovery, whether it's your knees, hips, shoulders, or back. My friends at QC Kinetics will help you get moving again so you can get back to doing the things you love.
QC Kinetics medical professionals will look at your x-rays or MRI to determine if you're a good candidate.
I trusted QC Kinetics to help me feel like myself again, and I'm proud to recommend them to you.
Call QC Kinetics today and schedule your free consultation.
Call QC Kinetics 414-240-2298. That's 414-240-2298. 414-240-2298.
Father's Day is coming up, and let's be honest, Dad doesn't need another tie. Give him something he actually wants. New windows that lower energy bills, a durable new roof, beautiful siding, or a bath remodel he can brag about to every guest who visits. And during the Exterior Pros and Baths June savings event, you'll get $3,000 off your project. That's $3,000 in instant savings, but only for a limited time. Call 262-800-4274 or visit extpros.com today. Exterior Pros and Baths. Big savings done right.
Keeping you updated on culture and creativity. What's on Tap with Sandy Max.
The creator of this massive Bob Uecker mural is in the studio with me right now, artist Mauricio Ramirez.
Take it piece by piece, step by step, and just focus on a certain area, that most difficult part of the mural, which is the portraiture work. I'm just really hyper-focused on making sure that I get all the details right.
Weeknights at 6 on WTMJ and the What's on Tap podcast on WTMJ.com. WTMJ, W277CV, and WKTI HD2 Milwaukee from the Annex Wealth Management Studios. This is News Radio WTMJ, a Good Karma brand station.
Do you know the secret to losing up to 1 pound of fat every day? At Milwaukee Weight Loss, we know the secret. Our doctor-developed, easy-to-follow weight loss program helps you lose weight fast, naturally and safely, and with no drugs or injections with risk of serious side effects, no prepackaged meals, bars, shakes, and no exercising required. Our program helps reset your metabolism so you can keep the weight off for good with a coach for ongoing support. Our program costs up to half as much and works up to twice as fast as most other programs. Go to MilwaukeeWeightLoss.com to schedule your free consultation.
Many of us struggle to lose weight. I use Milwaukee Weight Loss to lose the weight I've wanted to lose for a long time. And the great thing is I've kept it off now for over a year. Lost 45 pounds last year, another almost 10 pounds this year with a goal of losing maybe 10 more. For a limited time, get $200 off of their summer special. Book your free consultation at MilwaukeeWeightLoss.com. I can do it. You can do it. We can all do it. Let's lose weight together. That's MilwaukeeWeightLoss.com. Results may vary.
This is Bo from Ridgetop Exteriors. Your home should be the one place that you feel completely comfortable and safe. But old, drafty windows can steal that feeling. At Ridgetop Exteriors, we bring that peace of mind back. As Wisconsin's leading Pella Premier contractor, we install beautiful, secure windows and doors that can save you up to 40% on your energy bills. Get a home full of new Pella windows for as low as $198 a month. Learn more at ridgetopexteriors.com.
Ridgetop Exteriors.
Hey, WTMJ's John Mercure here. For pilots and aviation lovers, there's nothing like making a trip to EAA AirVenture Oshkosh. July 20th through the 26th, get up close to thousands of aircraft, learn about the newest innovation, get hands-on with experts, and witness breathtaking daily air shows, some even at night. There's no better way to immerse yourself into the world of aviation than by checking out the world's greatest aviation celebration. Fuel your passion for flight. EAA.org is the website. July 20th through the 26th, EAA.org.
The place you want to go, Lynch McWanago.
Nobody sells for less than Lynch.
The mountains are calling, and so are the highlights.
Hit in the air. This is deep. Up into the night. Back goes Doyle. Track. Wall. See you later, Bryce Terrain.
The climb continues as the Brewers take on the Rockies at Coors Field.
Demolishes one up into the night sky. All the way back to the wall.
Our Brewers Radio Network game day coverage starts tonight at 7:05. We are the home of the Brewers. 620 WTMJ, Milwaukee.
It's 2 o'clock. This is Wisconsin's Midday News for Friday, June 5th. I'm Jessica Ty. Your top story, new enhancements for 911.
I'm Neil Doyle in for Greg Matzik. Getting more children vaccinated against HPV.
Isolated rain and storms tonight, otherwise partly cloudy. We're going to dip down to 63 degrees for the low. Tomorrow morning, some rain, becoming mostly sunny after that. We'll have a high of 83 tomorrow. Right now, we're up to 73 degrees in Milwaukee and overcast. From the WTMJ Breaking News Center, Milwaukee residents will soon be able to text 911. Director of the Department of Emergency Communications, Tony Bueno, says a rollout of a new feature for 911 dispatch is coming soon.
The city of Milwaukee recently consolidated their call centers. So this is just the progression of technology in the department where we're finding ways to enhance the service to the communities, to improve our response time, and just make the interface with emergency dispatch much more convenient and accessible.
Bueno says the advancements, which also include transcription software and real-time translation capabilities, will be fully available come fall.
3 very low-risk travelers being monitored by the City of Milwaukee Health Department for Ebola. A measure the city stresses is only a precaution.
The 3 travelers are only described as people who have recently returned from Africa, but health officials confirm there are no suspected cases of Ebola in Milwaukee. While there are no confirmed cases of the disease in the U.S., head of the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services, Dr. Mehmet Oz, says the nation is taking precautions ahead of the FIFA World Cup, which begins next week and will bring millions to the U.S. from around the world.
We have very purposefully put up testing tools and mechanisms at the major airports that people will be traveling through.
Adam Roberts, WTMJ News.
Wisconsin health experts say more kids should be vaccinated against HPV. This month marks 20 years since the FDA approved the HPV vaccine, which helps prevent several forms of cancer. UW Health pediatrician Megan Yanni.
As of the 2025 data in Wisconsin, the 13 to 18-year-old age group, only a little bit over 50% have actually completed their HPV series. So that means that we have work to do to get more kids their HPV vaccines so that we can protect more kids in Wisconsin.
Yanni says just over half of Wisconsin teenagers have completed the HPV vaccine schedule. That is below the national average.
On Capitol Hill, the Senate voted early this morning to pass a budget reconciliation package to fund immigration enforcement operations through 2029. More from News Nation's Vinay Simla.
At 4:53 on Friday morning, the Senate passed a bill to spend roughly $70 billion on immigration enforcement. No Democrats voted for it. It passed the Senate 4 days after the president's June 1st deadline to sign it into law because of a series of disagreements with Senate Republicans. First, the so-called anti-weaponization fund, $1.7 billion for people who believed they were politically prosecuted.
$1 billion allocated for President Trump's ballroom was ultimately removed from the bill.
There is no breakthrough yet between the U.S. and Iran in negotiations that could potentially end the war. Iran still controls the Strait of Hormuz. There have also been military flare-ups between the two sides recently, even though the White House insists the ceasefire is holding. ABC's Tom Sufi Burridge is in Israel.
President Trump was talking about a potential plan that was on the cards, he says, at the very beginning of the war. It would have involved special forces, U.S. special forces, airdropping into Iran. He said heavy equipment would also have been airlifted into those areas. And the idea was for those special forces to conduct some kind of engineering operation to extract some of, or if not all of, Iran's stocks of enriched uranium, which are thought to be buried deep within mountains.
President Trump says he won't rule out a meeting with Iran's supreme leader if it focused on a deal to end the war.
Time for news about your money. The WTMJ Annex Wealth Management Market Update. A very rough day so far across the board and not getting a whole lot better. The NASDAQ dropping to seeing one of its lowest, or I should say biggest drops in more than a year, down over 3% at 25,812. The Dow, after hitting a record high yesterday, down over 1% as well at 50,899. And the S&P 500, after 9 straight weeks of winning, is down more than 183 points at 7,400. Financial planning at every level. Annex Comprehensive Wealth, Annex Private Client, Annex Ignite. Details at annexwealth.com.
Sports, traffic, and weather are next. Stay close. It's 2:05 by Outdoor Living Unlimited.
Networks, streaming services, retail chains, and tech giants are all adding plus to their names. But where did the concept originate? We may be biased, but we think these big wigs found their inspiration for Plus at Hassellus Mattress. Hassellus showrooms are employee-free. Give your mattress a try with no pushy sales guy. Plus, our 35 beds from the top 5 brands start at $293. Plus, unbeatable prices on Tempur-Pedic. Plus, free next-day delivery and setup. Plus, free haul away and disposal of your old mattress. Plus, 60-month interest-free financing on select Tempur-Pedic with approved credit. Plus, a $300 MasterCard gift card with your Tempur-Pedic mattress. Plus, a ruggedly handsome spokesman with a smooth radio voice. Get all this, plus a whole lot more when you shop at Hassellus Mattress. Or maybe we should change our name to Hassellus Plus. Nah. Open 9 to 9. Find an employee-free showroom near you or shop online at hassellus.com.
So I was talking with another real estate agent who has been in the business even longer than I have, with a couple of other big-name companies. He was talking about how it's tough to compete with us because we have good agents and we charge less commission. And he even said that he lost a few listings to us, and it always bothered him because he realized that he was doing everything that we were doing, but he was charging more. We do charge less, and we do everything that a full-service agency does, because we are full-service real estate agents. The only difference is we give you our very best commission rate up front. You do pay for what you get. And with Century 21 Benefit Realty for 1.9% on the listing side of your home, with a cap of $19,000 commission on any size home, you can get full-service experienced agents, MLS marketing, professional photos, even virtual walkthroughs, and everything you get from any other big-name agent, all under the umbrella of the Century 21 brand. This is Angela Calais with Century 21 Benefit Realty, benefit-realty.com, where you pay less for full service. Each office is independently owned and operated.
Time for a WTMJ sports update from the Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all sports desk. Milwaukee Brewers sitting in first place in the NL Central, now on a 6-game road trip. That starts with 3 games in Colorado with the Rockies, coming off a split with the San Francisco Giants, and manager Pat Murphy describing the season so far.
This season and every season will give you the full catastrophe, the full Major League catastrophe. We've had a surplus of injuries early. We've got 3 starters out right now, Priester, Woodruff, and Henderson. We've got relievers like Zerpa and Koenig that were going to be part of it. That's 5 major injuries. But, we've always found a way.
Brandon Sproat on the mound tonight for Game 1 against the Rockies. All of our coverage at 7:05 right here on WTMJ. Packers entering the final stretch of their offseason program. Mandatory minicamp starting next week. And tonight, Game 2 in the NBA Finals. New York Knicks with a 1-game lead over the San Antonio Spurs. You can hear that game over on 94.5 ESPN.
Checking out the roads with your WTMJ Time Saver traffic. Still dealing with this crash in downtown Milwaukee, 4394 south at the ramp from 94 east. Right shoulder is blocked because of it. Also, just a heads up because the backups right now on 4394 south are pretty intense. In fact, they start even before Capitol. Looks like if you're moving towards Hampton, you're good, but then Capitol, boom, the slowdowns hit and you're going to be hitting the brakes at that point. Other than that, also seeing some delays on 4145 in our construction zone, and right smack dab in the middle of that, 4145 north, very close to North Avenue. Right shoulder is blocked there because of a car that's broken down. Mostly just dealing with some delays due to construction. No significant crashes other than the first one I told you about in downtown Milwaukee.
Traffic is sponsored by TaybackAttorneys.com. Social Security benefits denied? Call Tayback for the payback. Unable to work due to health problems? Let Tayback help you get approved for the Social Security benefits you're entitled to. Call Tayback for the payback. TaybackAttorneys.com.
Still some lingering showers, but most of us getting a little bit of dry time finally, but could still see maybe a shower or storm pop up tonight. We'll see a low down to 63 degrees. Some lingering rain into Saturday, but otherwise should be mostly sunny. Highs in the low 80s. Sunny and less humid on Sunday with a high of 73. And then moving into next week, Monday, we could see showers and storms pop back up and some more humidity on Monday with highs in the low 80s. In Milwaukee, it's 73 degrees.
Live from the Annex Wealth Management Studios in downtown Milwaukee, it's Wisconsin's Midday News, making stories come to life. Now, here are your hosts, Jessica Ty, and in for Greg Matzik, it's Neil Doyle.
Happy Friday, everybody. We are working for the weekend right now, right?
I mean, we're almost there, at least for us.
We are inching closer. Greg is off today, enjoying the day. A little bit of rain out there, but hey, we needed it. Also, rain is good luck, right? We've got Neil Doyle in for our last hour. Let's get to it.
Here's your top 2 at 2 on Wisconsin's Midday News.
Number 1, we are just 1 hour away from a presidential roundtable in Wisconsin. This is President Trump's first visit to Wisconsin since being reelected. The president is holding a roundtable at Custer Farm at 3 o'clock this afternoon. The crowd is there waiting for him now. I see farming equipment on the stage and a sign that says, big bold letters, "Fighting for American Farmers." They're talking farming today. Right before that roundtable, the president is set to participate in a taped interview. We were talking about this earlier. I think it's going to be network.
That's what it's seeming like.
I mean, and that happens often, but every once in a while I get a local reporter who gets that one-on-one with the president. It is not Matt Smith over at 12, and it is not Charles Benson over at 4. Talked with both of them. They said, not me. So if I'm putting money on it right now, I'm going with a network interview. We'll see. WTMJ has confirmed Congressman Tom Tiffany and Derek Van Orden will attend today. We also know Wisconsin gubernatorial candidate Missy Hughes plans to lead a protest at the Eau Claire Airport. President Trump's visit to Chippewa Falls comes as his approval rating has dropped to its lowest point so far. That's according to the latest Marquette Law School poll, which just came out on Wednesday.
Who should lead Wisconsin's public universities? That's the question the UW system hoping to answer with a series of public listening sessions that will be happening across the state next week, including one here in Milwaukee. Now, the search for a new UW system president all comes after the Board of Regents ousted Jay Rothman back in April. Before that firing, the board said in a statement the decision was about the future of the 13 university system. So members of this presidential search committee now wanting input from the likes of students, faculty, staff, community members as they are now searching for a new system leader. Committee chair and regent Ashok Rai says public feedback will play a very important role in the process.
Help guide a multitude of aspects of the process, from helping to craft the job description to the types of questions we ask candidates to how we look at CVs going forward. So the listening sessions are very important.
So there are 5 scheduled sessions across the state next week that, again, members of the public are invited to attend. And this is kind of the first step in this process of hiring a new system president. And again, there is one next week on the UW Milwaukee campus. That is next Tuesday, June 9th at 3:30 p.m.
Very important process. It's 2:13 coming up this hour. The fight over Ridglan Farms reaches Washington. Congressman Mark Pocan's social media trail tells the story, and he joins us from D.C. at 2:37. And up next, who remembers the Schlitz Golden Goddess? She's back, but in a unique and limited edition way.
Mark Olson here. Now is the time to declare your independence from the outdated kitchen during the Redo Cabinets 4th of July event. Redo Cabinets, where hundreds of homeowners have discovered the benefits of refacing old kitchen cabinets, celebrates America's 250th birthday. Redo Cabinets, where you'll find premium cabinet facings made here in the USA, and you could choose from dozens of colors, various hardware, and accessory selections. During the Redo Cabinets 4th of July celebration, get $1,776 off your entire cabinet project and a free backsplash, and no payments for 12 months. That's right, no payments until 2027. Incredible savings. Call us today for a free, no obligation consultation. Redo Cabinets, 414-677-6417. That's 414-677-6417. Or visit us online at redocabinets.com. Don't replace it, redo it with Redo Cabinets.
WTMJ's Vince Vitrano talking with Dr. Mike Nolte at Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin. Doc, a lot of people are hesitant to visit a surgeon for spine care.
The good news is that the vast majority of patients that I see and the majority of conditions that I can see can be successfully treated without surgery. And I don't want patients to think that just because you're seeing a spine surgeon means that you're going to be signing up for surgery. We talk about in my clinic kind of a plan A, a plan B, and a plan C.
Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin, there is a difference. OrthoWisconsin.com.
The mountains are calling, and so are the highlights.
Hit in the air. This is deep. Up into the night. Back goes Doyle. Track. Wall. See you later, Bryce Terran.
The climb continues as the Brewers take on the Rockies at Coors Field.
Wow, Yelich demolishes one up into the night sky. All the way back to the wall.
Our Brewers Radio Network game day coverage starts tonight at 7:05. We are the home of the Brewers. WTMJ.
For generations, Schlitz wasn't just a beer. It was part of the family story. My Grandpa Ty always drank Schlitz. He'd put them in the freezer for a bit. He called them Frosties. Time for a Frosty,
Yes.
he'd say. Then he'd pop that top, and I can still hear it in my head. Well, maybe someone you know had a Schlitz sign in the garage, or maybe you remember seeing that famous Golden Goddess lamp glowing in a basement bar. Now, after 175 years, the final batch of the beer that made Milwaukee famous has been brewed. And to mark the end of an amazing American brewing icon, the National Bobblehead Hall of Fame and Museum is unveiling a pair of Schlitz Golden Goddess bobbleheads. Phil Sklar, co-founder and CEO of the National Bobblehead Hall of Fame and Museum, joins us live in the studio with the details. Thanks for being here again.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Okay, so you just unveiled these new Schlitz bobbleheads this morning. In fact, if you want to see them, you can text the Saudi Unlimited WTMJ Talk and Text line. That's 855-616-1620. Text WATCH to 855-616-1620. If you're streaming on YouTube with us or on social media, you can see them there too. You brought one as well. You just unveiled these. Our younger fans, they may not know about the Golden Goddess and where exactly she comes from. What was her role? Where did you find her back in the day?
Yeah, she was all over, Milwaukee, all over the country at bars, and people bought, replicas, and they bought them for their home bars, like you mentioned. But yeah, she sort of became the mascot, if you will, for Schlitz. And we had a couple people, suggest doing Golden Goddess bobbleheads about a year or so ago when we came out with this initial Schlitz bobblehead. But yeah, once Schlitz announced, we're like, okay, we got to get these out there. People really are excited and, having this nostalgia for Schlitz. And so we got them out there this morning, and they've been really popular.
And I feel like people, again, the Golden Goddess is kind of the mascot for Schlitz, but people might say, well, why don't you just do the Schlitz logo? I'm like, well, you have to use the Golden Goddess. I mean, that's
we also have one here, right, too, of the Schlitz Bobble logo.
Okay.
He's got a little bit of everything.
I wasn't sure if there were multiple.
Yeah, so the Schlitz Bobble logo is one that we did about a year and a half ago when we did some Pabst, Schlitz, Blatz bobbleheads. So, yeah, this one actually sold out this morning in the first batch, so that we'll have more coming. But
you sold them out?
Sold out of the first batch. We do have more of these coming. The Golden Goddess we do have available still. They're available for pre-order coming in December. Each one will be individually numbered to 2026 for the year. So yeah, great collectible. It'll be something fun that a lot of people are pre-ordering now and gonna have to remember the beer that made Milwaukee famous.
So, Phil, peel back the curtain a little bit. What went into making the Schlitz bobbleheads? Because I imagine it had to be just right when you're working with big companies and in these well-known brands, even if in this case, the beer is no more.
Yeah, so we work with Pabst Brewing Company, which has the Schlitz, Blatz, Pabst, and a few other brands. These days, they're headquartered in San Antonio, and we have a license with them, so we're able to do bobbleheads and bobbles of any of those brands. And so as soon as we saw the news, we were like, okay, we got to get this going. We submitted designs, I think the same day or the next day after it was announced, and they approved them. And so today we're excited to have them out there for people to be able to pre-order.
How long did that process take for them to actually approve it?
It was pretty quick. They're pretty fast at things.
You're pretty good, too. A little combination of both, I guess.
We're always quick to work and to hop on things like that. But since we were already licensed, it makes it a quick process. If we weren't, then it would have taken potentially months or, sometimes a year.
Wow.
There's obviously a lot of interest in this. I mean, you said the first batch already sold out, but and in all the bobbleheads and, kind of the Milwaukee themed ones that are nostalgic for the area, where do you kind of feel like maybe this Schlitz one stacks up?
Yeah, I guess we'll have to see how it plays out, but it's definitely trending to be, at the higher level. We've had some really popular ones over the years like Milverine and Deep Thought and quite a few that, bring a smile to people's faces, bring up some great memories and some fun things. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see, but I think they'll, definitely be at the top, especially for the beer collectors out there. And there's a lot of them in the area and the region, but not just in Milwaukee. We're seeing people from across the country really interested and excited about it.
Well, I love that you mentioned the Milverine and Deep Thought because those are hyper Milwaukee. And Schlitz is too, of course. But as you mentioned, people across the country are interested in this one. I mean, my grandpa was in Kansas City, Missouri, but his son, my dad, went to Marquette University and is here now. I'm curious because if you think about Milverine and you think about Deep Thought, those are newer things. Schlitz goes way back. Have you noticed growing interest in preserving pieces of regional history through collectibles?
Yeah, definitely. We definitely see excitement in that. We've done bobbleheads of the Milwaukee's founders, of the beer barons, and people enjoy it. It's a great way to sort of look at history, teach history. We see it with presidential bobbleheads on a national level. We've done bobbleheads of every president, and we're always surprised how many people keep buying a James Buchanan bobblehead. But yeah, it's something that people use for teaching, for education, for just looking back at history. It's a fun way to, especially for history buffs or people who have a sense of pride or excitement about what happened in Milwaukee history or the world history.
Do you feel like the younger generations maybe kind of getting into bobbleheads even more? I mean, I feel like a lot of this stuff, you want it for the nostalgic sake, but at least for me, I have some younger family and they're kind of getting into the bobblehead game. Does it seem like that's kind of happening?
It definitely is, and I think the baseball and all sports giving away bobbleheads at the games definitely helps with that. You go to a game starting at a little, you might be 2-1, you get your first bobblehead. They give it to all the fans at Brewers games. Some stadiums just give it to kids. So yeah, it definitely gets the kids excited about them early, and then they see other people that they like, whether it's a character from TV or a book or something, and they'll start to build that collection up slowly over time. And before they know it, they might have dozens or hundreds of bobbleheads.
You have people, not just from Milwaukee, not just from Wisconsin, but across the country who come to the museum to check it out. What are some of the favorites inside? Because not everybody has been to the museum, and this is kind of a push for people to go because it's a neat, very unique spot.
Yeah, so we have over 10,000 unique bobbleheads on display, every category from baseball to pop culture, politics. So you find everything from, The Simpsons to Star Wars to Pokemon and every sports team, that you can imagine. You'll find golf, boxing, tennis, just a really broad range of everything that you can imagine. So people will find a lot of things they're familiar with, things that they're not familiar with. We also have scavenger hunts, which are a great way to help explore the museum, and we're open 7 days a week, so no excuse not to bobble in.
Oh gosh. So, but what's the one or maybe two that they leave and they're talking about, or they can't believe they saw it, or like, this is great. The bobbleheads inside the museum that just have people chatting.
Yeah, so we have a couple from 1841, so those are definitely ones that people turn their heads to.
There were bobbleheads
yes.
in 1841.
Yes, and
Wow.
they're figurines. They're actually 3 feet tall. We have some life-size bobbleheads, which people also enjoy. We have the original Beatles bobblehead set from 1964, the first baseball player-specific bobbleheads from 1961. So, yeah, quite a bit to see. And, yeah, you'll definitely be surprised at some of the bobbleheads that you see.
Phil, with all the bobbleheads that even you've created, is there one, an icon or maybe even kind of a Milwaukee tie that you haven't done yet that you're hoping to here in the future?
Yeah, we have a long wish list of bobbleheads that we have in the works. We every year coming out with usually hundreds of new bobbleheads. Taylor Swift is the #1 most requested bobblehead. We do have a prototype of her bobblehead on display.
Does
at the
she
museum.
have to sign off on that?
Yes, we have to
I
get sign off.
so.
So that's why we've been having it on our radar for
She's
many
busy.
many years.
She's getting married.
I think she just released a new song this morning too. I saw for Toy Story 5. So yeah. Maybe somebody who knows her will, say, hey, you got to have a bobblehead, and these guys can make it for you. So, yeah, there's several Milwaukee people, too, that we're working on. So, yeah, it'll be another fun year of bobbleheads.
Okay, can you give us a hint on some of those Milwaukee people you're working on? Just a hint, one hint?
One hint? I'd say, some really popular people that everybody will know.
Okay.
Oh, I don't know if that's a hint, Phil.
I guess that's all I can give for that. You'll have to stay tuned. Follow us on social media. Check us out.
Okay, will do. And it's wild to me, too, because, this is your business, but when you come in here each time, I can just see in your eyes the excitement that you still have over your business and these bobbleheads. What keeps you going and what keeps you just having that fire and the desire to create more of these?
Yeah, it's been about a dozen years now that we've been going strong, and I think it's just, every day at the museum, seeing people excited, happy, having a great time, putting a smile on their face, and then when we're creating new bobbleheads, hearing from people, whether they post it on social media or send us an email saying how much they loved it, or, a lot of people give them as gifts. So it's something that's a lot of fun. They bring fun to people, and that's something that we enjoy.
That's the best. Neil, I don't know if you know this. I probably never told you the story, but back in the day, I got a tip that this was starting, and I kind of worked with Phil to give a sneak peek inside the museum. And then at one point, you had delivered to me your own bobblehead. It's like a mini bobblehead, the Phil bobblehead, and it's a small one, but I did have it on my desk for a long, long time. I didn't throw it out. It's still somewhere, but I think it's like packed away, Phil.
Maybe someday on eBay it'll
there you go. It's going to be worth some money. Well, this is really cool for a lot of people. This feels like more than a collectible. It feels like preserving a piece of Americana with the Schlitz Golden Goddess bobblehead. Now available. Phil is the co-founder and CEO of the National Bobblehead Hall of Fame Museum. Thanks again for coming back.
Thanks for having me.
It's 2:26. Coming up next, local news and your top national headlines.
Man, I love this place. I've been surfing here since I was a kid. Now, seeing my grandson out on the water, it means everything to me. Watching him and taking in the blue waves, the sea breeze, the blurry horizon.
If you have geographic atrophy, or GA, subtle changes in vision could mean it's progressing toward irreversible vision loss. Izervay is proven to slow GA progression and could help preserve your vision for longer, so you may keep seeing the world around you. Izervay, or avacincaptad pegol, is an eye injection. Don't take it if you have an infection or active swelling in or around your eye. Izervay can cause eye infection, retinal detachment, or increased risk of wet AMD. Izervay may cause blood in the white of the eye, blurred vision, or a temporary increase in eye pressure. Do not drive or use machinery until vision has recovered after an eye injection or exam. Ask your retina specialist how you can slow your GA with Izervay. To learn more, call 1-855-IZERVAY or go to izervay.com. Paid for by Astellas Pharma.
Summer is the time to enjoy the outside. Enjoy the deck, the patio, the fire pit, the shade, the screen room, the in-ground pool. Enjoy all of it in your own backyard. Outdoor Living Unlimited is Wisconsin's top TimberTech decking installer and can deliver a design and build your next maintenance-free deck with a custom screen room and automated pergola. Stop by our Outdoor Living Unlimited showroom at 665 Larry Court in Waukesha or visit OutdoorLivingUnlimited.com.
The Matrix is Penny Mustard's most popular TV stand.
No way. It's a computer-generated simulation.
How do you know?
Look closely at the Matrix. See all the pixels?
Those aren't pixels.
That's wood grain.
The Matrix TV stand is handcrafted from solid wood.
Built to your specifications and TV size.
Yeah, right. That's what they want you to believe.
Come see the totally real and wildly popular Matrix TV stand, starting at $28.44 at Penny Mustard.
Showrooms in Milwaukee and Chicago.
PennyMustard.com.
Hey, remember when your basement was just for storage? WTMJ's Greg Matzik here. With Matrix Basement Finishing, they turn that empty space into the heart of your home. It's what they did for us. Whether it's a cozy family movie night or cheering on your favorite team during the best time of the year to watch sports. From the design consultation to picking out your perfect flooring and fixtures, the process is seamless and done at your home. Get the quality craftsmanship you deserve with no payments until 2028. And visit matrixbasements.com.
At Blaine's Farm and Fleet, we know you do things your way. So why shop the same retail giants as everyone else when you can easily find the products you need and trust at unbeatable prices? Right now, during our June farm sale, save $2 on assorted Purina horse feed. Save $70 on a 50-pint Perfect Air dehumidifier. And assorted Carhartt work boots are 25% off. Find value on the things you value. Blaine's Farm and Fleet. Be an original.
Take your family to the amazing Mineshaft restaurant in Hartford for the all-you-can-eat Wednesday and Friday haddock fish fry for $8.99. Wow. You'll pay twice that elsewhere. Desserts are buy one, get one free. Google The Mineshaft. Call and reserve your table, The Mineshaft.
I'm Libby Collins. This week on WTMJ Conversations, former Kenosha police officer Brian Gonzalez gives his version of what happened in the shooting of Michael Bell 20 years ago.
I had gone to the father of the person. I wanted to just say, hey, I forgive you for the things that you've been saying. How that situation ended was how it was going to end.
WTMJ Conversations, Sunday mornings at 11 on WTMJ.
Get started with your no-hassle refi checkup by clicking on the blue button at Accunet.com.
It's 2:30. This is Wisconsin's Midday News for Friday, June 5th. I'm Jessica Ty. Your top story? A presidential visit and a protest.
I'm Neil Doyle. Closures on the Mitchell interchange for the weekend.
Isolated rain and storms tonight, otherwise partly cloudy. Will dip down to 63 for the low.
ABC News, I'm Mike Dubusky. President Trump says the Department of National Intelligence is too big and is pushing for incoming acting director Bill Pulte to downsize the organization in charge of the nation's spy agencies. Oral arguments today in the case of the White House ballroom. A lower court had ordered construction to stop following a lawsuit from preservationists. Now the president's lawyers are asking an appeals court to throw out that move. ABC's Stephen Portnoy.
One of the judges, Patricia Millett, who's an Obama appointee, really pressed the Justice Department on how far the president can go, whether the president could tear down the White House or maybe even if he wanted to, take down the Statue of Liberty, and whether anyone could sue to stop him. And the answer from the government's lawyer was, quote, "I think that's right."
Brendan Banfield has been sentenced to life in prison after being convicted earlier this year for murdering his wife Christine and Joseph Ryan. The man Banfield wanted to take the fall for his wife's murder. This is ABC News.
Decision Wisconsin. President Trump is now in Chippewa Falls. He plans to talk to farmers hit hard by rising prices spurred on by the war with Iran. News Nation's Kelly Myers.
Farmers may have questions around what's happening with the war in Iran as it drives up prices for them, from fertilizer to the cost of gas, the cost of diesel, driving up prices for farmers. The cost up more than 50% since the war in Iran started back in February. We spoke with the chair of the Wisconsin Republican Party, and he believes farmers in the Badger State support the president and his work in reducing energy costs.
At the same time, gubernatorial candidate Missy Hughes is currently hosting a protest at the airport.
Menominee Falls police releasing body camera footage of the arrest of a 13-year-old.
Hold on, let me get this. Stop.
Audio courtesy of the Menominee Falls Police Department. The video from May 21st depicts the officers briefly placing a hand on the boy's neck shoulder area while turning him over to handcuff him, while his family tells them, quote, "Don't put your hand on his throat." Police say they cannot disclose the specific charge the boy was under arrest for because he is a minor, but call the actions during the arrest, quote, "reasonable and justified." Elizabeth Linton in WTMJ News.
Wisconsin reaches a historic $10 million settlement over PFAS contamination.
The State Department of Justice reached a deal with Tyco Fire Products after the so-called forever chemicals contaminated the water supply in northeastern Wisconsin for decades.
In particular, we allege failure to notify DNR of a PFAS discharge, as well as failure to remediate contamination at and around the Fire Technology Center in Marinette.
In addition to the $10 million, Attorney General Josh Kaul says Tyco will pay for replacement wells for affected residents and other remediation in the area as needed. Jessica Gatso, WTMJ News.
Drivers near the Mitchell interchange can plan for another extended weekend closure.
This closure is located on the south leg of the interchange, and this will involve a full closure of the I-94 northbound collector distributor roadway.
Wisconsin DOT's Eric Hansen says that closure, which starts tonight, runs between College Avenue and Grange Avenue, and drivers headed to the airport will need to use an alternate route.
College Avenue will get you over to Howell Avenue, and that'll give you access to the airport.
The closure also affects ramps to the airport spur and Layton through the weekend. Debbie Laziga, WTMJ News.
A soaking rain brings relief to southeastern Wisconsin. WTMJ meteorologist Craig Copeland on when we can expect even more rain.
The next higher threat of rain doesn't kick in until Monday afternoon, and then into Monday night and Tuesday too. So more beneficial rain not too far away.
You can also feel the humidity out there today. Your complete WTMJ 5-day forecast coming up in just minutes.
Sports, traffic, weather are next. Outdoor Living Unlimited, WTMJ News Time, 2:34.
From the people who brought you It's the Dog Park comes.
It's a hot spot on your dog's leg that the internet says you can treat it at home. You're not sure though, 'cause now it's oozing.
Protect your dog from injury and illness with Progressive Pet Insurance.
Ooh, he's licking it. Super gross, dude.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Not available in all states or situations. Coverage subject to policy terms.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
ZipRecruiter. Hey, it's WTMJ Steve's Committee. Celebrate active aging at the Enjoy Life Symposium. Join Capri Communities and adults 55 plus for a free high-energy day at the Enjoy Life Acting Aging Symposium. Live entertainment, a senior fashion show, and speakers like, get this, Melinda Myers and Chef Michael Fecker, the Ukuleles, and Milwaukee's Dancing Grannies. Capri Communities brings it all together for one unforgettable day, Wednesday, June 10th at Elmbrook Church in Brookfield. Register now at EnjoyLifeSymposium.com, and to be entered to win a Green Bay game day experience, that's EnjoyLifeSymposium.com.
This is Bo from Ridgetop Exteriors. Your home should be the one place that you feel completely comfortable and safe, but old, drafty windows can steal that feeling. At Ridgetop Exteriors, we bring that peace of mind back. As Wisconsin's leading Pella Premier contractor, we install beautiful, secure windows and doors that can save you up to 40% on your energy bills. Get a home full of new Pella windows for as low as $198 a month. Learn more at ridgetopexteriors.com.
Ridgetop Exteriors.
Giving your liver a spring cleaning is easy with Active Liver from New Nordic. Search for Active Liver by New Nordic on Amazon, CVS, Wegmans, or GNC.
Time for a WTMJ Sports Update from the Gruber Law Offices. One call, That's All Sports Desk. Entering the weekend, the Brewers with a 4.5-game lead in the NL Central, and now starting a 6-game road trip that begins with 3 games in Colorado with the Rockies. Brandon Sproat on the mound tonight for Game 1. All of our coverage at 7:05 right here on WTMJ. Baseball, even though the Brewers out of town, still going to be played over at AmFam. Banana Ball, the party animals and the coconuts, some sold-out crowds expected both tomorrow and Sunday. And Game 2 of the NBA Finals tonight, the Knicks with a 1-game lead over the Spurs. 7:30 tip. You can hear that game over on 94.5 ESPN.
Checking out the roads with your WTMJ Time Saver traffic. We do have a new crash. This one is out in the Pewaukee area in Waukesha County. Heads up here, I-94 West at County SS. Right shoulder is blocked because of that one. Looks like emergency responders are already at the scene. We also continue to deal with a crash in downtown Milwaukee, 4394 South at the ramp from I-94 East. Right shoulder is blocked in that case. We, of course, have our delays in our construction zones on 94 eastbound and westbound around American Family Field. Also 4145 in the Butler area and also in the Mayfair Mall area. There is, in addition, a disabled vehicle on 4145 North at North Avenue. Right shoulder is blocked because of that. And heads up also over by the Hone Bridge, on the bridge actually, 794 West. On the Hone Bridge, the right shoulder is blocked. There's a broken down vehicle out there. Looks like, as I pull up the cameras here, by the way, a beauty shot, even on a rainy day, of downtown Milwaukee, as I look at this traffic shot of the Hone Bridge, because you can see the ships that are here, even if they're freight ships. It's a beautiful sight in Milwaukee. But I do see as well, it's far off in the distance, but looks like there's a car that's broken down, and I do see flashing lights, so emergency responders are out there.
Certainly been a wet Friday for us, and still going to have a chance of maybe seeing an isolated shower or storm as we move into the evening. A low down to 63 degrees. Maybe a lingering shower early Saturday, but that should clear out pretty early and then should be a nice day. Mostly sunny, a high of 83. Sunny, less humid on Sunday with a high of 73. And then moving into early next week, shower and storm chances returning Monday, highs in the low 80s. And then could see more showers and storms Tuesday, warm and humid with a high of 85. 73 degrees right now in Milwaukee.
He says he wants to ensure what happened at Ridglan Farms never happens again. That's a quote from U.S. Representative Mark Pocan, who recently sent a letter to Health and Human Services Secretary RFK Jr. Congressman Pocan represents Wisconsin's 2nd Congressional District, where the breeding and research facility is located. He's now leading a bipartisan push urging RFK Jr. to stop taxpayer dollars from going to research facilities that he says engage in the mistreatment of animals. Ridglan Farms has never been convicted of animal mistreatment in court, but it has struck a deal to stop selling dogs come July 1st. It does not have to stop its own research. Congressman Pocan joins us from Washington, D.C. with the details of his request. Thanks for joining us, Congressman.
Well, thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
What specifically are you asking the National Institutes of Health to change?
Well, there's a lot of potential levers that need change in the federal government to ensure that a facility that, like Ridglan, that had 311 state violations, including things like not giving beagles anesthesia when they were undergoing surgery, et cetera, never happen again. The one that I think we can do that will probably have the biggest impacts with the NIH or the National Institutes for Health, and that is to make sure that right now they say you can get, if you're getting beagles for research, if you're a company acquiring them from a breeder, as long as they have a Class A USDA license, you can do that. But the problem is that doesn't take into consideration state violations, and in this case, not 311 state violations. So we're just trying to make it so that NIH is instructing folks that are going to get beagles that they understand that it may be broader than just the USDA license, and also it should be impacted by any state violations that are serious enough like these were.
Congressman, do you think people would be surprised? A lot of people have followed this story that obviously Ridglan's losing its state license, and you mentioned the violations that they have had, that maybe facilities similar to this one can still qualify for some of this federal funding. I think that would surprise people.
Well, and the thing is, they are dwindling. I mean, I think we're realizing that this is kind of maybe a slightly antiquated, barbaric way of dealing with research, in that, you don't necessarily have to harm dogs or other animals in the same way, given, the advances we have with things like AI and other research. So there are fewer and fewer facilities. In this case, this facility just had an awful lot of violations that, made it, that it really was, I think, in many ways, you could argue, torturing those animals. But right now, there's a couple things. One, can we make sure that, you only get beagles from a facility that is at least, run properly? But also, even on testing, this is something I learned recently, when you have a control group or a placebo group that, there's maybe no actual test medicine is given to, they still destroy those dogs like they do the others at the end of a test. And that really doesn't make a lot of sense. It's really extra cruel, and we really want government participating in that level of cruelty. I think people wouldn't think that happens, and yet unfortunately it does.
Ridglan Farms denies any abuse happens at its facility. It does euthanize some of the dogs in the end. This is a facility that's been in Dane County, Wisconsin for 60 years now. And then you have Marshall Bioresources, which is an even larger breeding facility in Wayne County, New York, that's been in business for nearly 90 years. I noticed Representative Langworthy signed this letter too. Marshall is in his district. Before you sent this letter, you specifically asked RFK Jr. to look into where NIH money was going. Here's the back and forth. Let's listen to that.
Grants are still, in the last month, going to groups that are getting beagles from Ridglan Farms. Could you please take a look at this?
I believe you, but I have a hard time believing that. I need to look into this.
Have you received a response?
To the Secretary's credit, he has made public statements saying he wants to get away from research on dogs. While they haven't quite taken us where we want to go anywhere close to it, they are talking to us, and I had a conversation with some senior officials in his office. I've also had extensive conversation with Dr. Bhattacharya, who's the head of the National Institutes of Health. I've also talked to folks at the USDA, essentially our ag folks at federal government level. And, we're all trying to figure out what things we can do since the directive, at least from Secretary Kennedy, does seem to be to try to get away from this type of practice. But it's even more interesting in some ways politically. Lara Trump, the president's daughter-in-law, is the person who helped raise money to get the beagles out of Ridglan, because she works for the organization that does that. So this truly crosses political, boundaries, so to speak. It's I don't even want to say bipartisan. I like to think it's nonpartisan, that we as a society can just treat animals better, especially, dogs better. There are so many people's pets and best friends. And the good news is there does seem to be progress, and people who want to move forward. And I think with the advances in science, we certainly can do that.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that because I did notice that more than 30 of your congressional colleagues co-signed the letter to RFK Jr., and it is lawmakers on both sides of the aisle. And I think in today's political climate, that really stands out. You also mentioned Laura Trump. Wayne Shung, who organized the efforts to break into Ridglan Farms, recently said he never thought Laura Trump would be on his side, but he is happily accepting it. Why has this issue brought lawmakers from both parties together? What are your colleagues on the other side telling you specifically?
Well, I think it is kind of an antiquated thing that every test that they do, they're testing on dogs. In fact, with AI and other advances, you don't need to do that. But when we start finding out that some of these old practices, for example, as I mentioned, are destroying dogs that have had, a control group, a placebo, it makes zero sense. And again, that's not on the left-right spectrum. It's on the humanity spectrum, and thankfully there are in both parties people who care about humanity and or dogs in this case, and they realize that it is wrong to mistreat animals, especially since so many people have dogs in particular as their pets. So I'm just glad we've got a broader spectrum. I think things are moving in the right direction. They're always moving slower than I and others would like to see them, but I understand with federal government things sometimes move that way. But there are a lot of people right now all rowing in the same direction, and hopefully that direction is to make sure that animals and dogs in particular aren't going to be abused.
To get some of these policies changed, and again, it sounds like there is support on both sides, is this something that the secretary and the department can just go ahead and change, or do you need to put legislation forward to get some of these policies to where you want them?
Both, but I think what I'm working on right now, if you've watched Congress lately, we're not exactly the most productive. I think sloths watch us and wonder why we move so slow. So what we need to do is figure an all-above approach. What can we do? So right now, working with USDA, working with Health and Human Services, working with Dr. Bhattacharya at the National Institutes of Health. All of that is inclusive, and even the FDA we have to work on also for some of these measures. But they can do much just by directive in the office. And I think, we're just trying to get them all to move in the right direction. And a small win at least will start getting us to that bigger win. And then hopefully there'll be a day where we're just not, testing on dogs in order to try to do what we can do without, given where we're at in science.
We're talking with Congressman Mark Pocan. I know you talked about working with the USDA. You recently had a call with the USDA in regards to Ridglan Farms, and you called it productive. What exactly made it so? Well,
I can hear it. They are trying to get to the right direction. In one case, they said they do think there's some legislative change required, but honestly, and I've been doing government for over 30 years. Sometimes they point the finger to another agency and the other agency points a finger there. And my job is just to make them kind of have those two fingers touch and realize that together they can probably figure this out. But they need a catalyst to do that. And I think that's part of it. And then if each of them takes on some changes that they can do without legislation, that will start moving us forward. So in some ways, it's just initiating the conversations, helping connect those dots, and figuring out exactly who has the ultimate responsibility, which, believe it or not, is often harder than it sounds in order to move things forward.
I think I read on your social media post that you learned Ridglan Farms had been told to surrender its federal breeding license by July 1st, or the USDA would take official action. And I read it like 3 different times because I was like, the federal breeding license. And I reached out to Ridglan Farms about that. I also reached out to the USDA. Starting July 1st, as I mentioned off the top, Ridglan Farms will no longer be able to sell dogs under state law. And the company says that makes their federal Class A breeder license moot and unnecessary. They also tell me that they've received no communication from the USDA threatening possible further action. But Congressman, something else the facility told me, they said they're concerned your social media posts targeting Ridglan raise the risk for further violent actions, placing your constituents, the animals, and activists at risk. What's your response to that?
Yeah, so I had the conversation with USDA. They do have a separate licensing, but if you lose your state license, you're not able to sell to other facilities. But USDA was equally concerned, based on their bad track record, that they shouldn't be able to sell. So that still is something that they told me that they've dealt with the facility on. So I can't speak for what information they've got or not, but I know what the USDA specifically said. But I think the real issue is, they recently came to a town hall I had last week, some people from Ridglan Farms. They clearly are back a few decades in where I think their thinking is, and they don't really understand this, in my opinion, as well as I think they should. I thought NIH funds went to them. Of course, they don't. They go to various companies that are doing research, and those companies buy the dogs from Ridgeland. They thought I was part of the group that was there trying to break in and get dogs, and I never was. So I think they just may have some information issues, and, I'm just glad that we're moving in the direction that we've got almost all the dogs out of there. I'll be satisfied when all the dogs are gone from this facility, but I'm not sure they really understand where in 2026 this country is and where science is in relation to the business they had.
That's Congressman Mark Pocan joining us from D.C. Thanks so much.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate it.
Heart disease won't stop us. Diabetes won't slow us down. Allergies, high blood pressure, shoulder pain, cancer. Nothing will keep us from pushing Wisconsin ahead. Because with the Freighter and the Medical College of Wisconsin Health Network, forward progress is what we stand for. That means always pushing and always innovating. With new technologies and breakthrough treatments that make life better, whether we're sick or well. It means providing more convenience and more ways to receive medical excellence for all your health needs, for big and small. It means being there for you, our family, caring for yours. So let's keep raising the bar. Let's keep testing the limits of what medicine can do. Let's push ahead and make life here as great as it can be. Visit Freighter.com to find out how.
It's WTMJ's Julia Fellow for Sweet Talks Medical Spa in Menominee Falls. If you're looking for expert care without that cold clinical vibe, Sweet Talks is where beauty, wellness, and self-confidence comes together in such a fun, welcoming space. Sweet Talks offers injectables, advanced skin treatments, even wellness services like weight loss or hormone optimization. Sweet Talks provides a comprehensive consultation designed just for you. Learn more at sweettalks.com.
I started our landscaping company, Brett Ochtenhagen's Seasonal Services, in 1994. We have other businesses, a trucking company, investment properties, and we board and raise quarter horses. I met Chris from Horicon Bank over 20 years ago, and we really hit it off. A few years back, we made our largest capital commitment ever. Chris understood our vision, supported it, and 5 years later, our annual equipment maintenance costs are down, and our fleet is amazing. Chris and Horicon Bank helped make that happen.
Horicon Bank, together doing good for 130 years. Member FDIC.
Are you ready to become a champion? Oh, yeah, you are. This June, head to Potawatomi Casino Hotel Milwaukee and team up with Bernie Brewer for his awesome $300,000 journey. Grab your rewards card and play your favorite lineup of games to earn entries. Thursday nights, you could compete in the Bernie Winball game for a chance at major prizes. There's no I in team, but there is in win. Play your best during Bernie's $300,000 journey. Only at Potawatomi. More info online. Must be 21 and a rewards member to play.
Politics, work, daily stressors. Let's take a break from all that and get centered, Christ-centered. I'm Pastor Tim Butker. Join me each week for Christian Crusaders, a broadcast that highlights the gospel, the good news of Jesus, and our belief in the authoritative Word of God. Christ-centered, gospel-oriented, Bible-based, Christian Crusaders. Please join us Sundays at 6 a.m. on WTMJ. We'd love to have you worship with us.
Find furniture for life from Ken Michaels Furniture in Brookfield, Greenfield, or downtown Milwaukee.
President Trump now here in Wisconsin. He is getting ready, just minutes away actually from a roundtable in Chippewa Falls. I was just listening to the media gaggle on Air Force One as the president was en route to Wisconsin, and he was talking to the media about the incredible job numbers that we got in today. They were higher than anticipated. U.S. economy added 172,000 jobs, but if you look at the markets right now, it is not a pretty sight. Here's the president on board Air Force One, headed here to Wisconsin about that.
And unfortunately, we're in a world where for the last 15 years or so, when you have good numbers, the market goes down. When you have bad numbers, the market goes up because too much emphasis is placed on inflation. And you don't have to have inflation by having growth. And we have great growth, and that doesn't mean inflation. In fact, it can be anti-inflation growth. So I hope the market starts to learn that when you have good numbers, the market should go up, not down.
Yeah, NASDAQ sinking 4%, having its worst day in a year. Part of that is on the AI weakness right now. A lot of people having concerns about what's happening with AI.
Yeah, and after the Dow hit a record high yesterday, it's down. Rough day on Wall Street to end the week. Yeah.
Yep, that is the roller coaster of the markets on Wall Street. Thanks so much for filling in today.
Of course. Thanks for having me.
We appreciate it, Neil. Greg will be back with me on Monday. Thank you for joining us as well. That's it for Wisconsin's Midday News. Have a fabulous weekend. Wisconsin's Afternoon News is coming up next.
Aha! My calculations are correct.
What calculations?
I can finally prove that Penny Mustard has more unique options for recliners than any other store in our solar system.
Well, obviously.
Just look at our showrooms.
We clearly have the best recliners in the universe.
Not universe, solar system.
You mean
that an alien life form in an undiscovered galaxy billions of light years away may somehow offer more optionizable recliners than Penny Mustard? It's feasible.
Seriously?
Maybe aliens are like Penny Mustard.